San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Thursday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. We are the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're on every single day from 10 to 2. Moving forward, get ready for Padres baseball in just a couple of weeks. But a lot to talk about on the show today. We're going to keep you updated on what's going on in college basketball. There's a lot going on in college basketball. We are now at the point where you got everybody's underway in terms of conference tournaments. All the big boys are underway. A lot of the mid-majors have already completed last week and have punched their ticket. We got other mid-major tournaments have already started. And the mid-major tournaments that involve the two D1 teams that are still in action have already gotten underway. UCSD, big comeback win for the Tritons last night. And they fell down big to Cal Poly. We're all the way back. They're going to play CSUN later on this evening. And then later on, or should I say, San Diego State will also play today in the Mountain West tournament. They got to find out who they're playing after Colorado State beat up on Fresno State. How about Boise State yesterday, by the way? Boise State starts the season losing to a team that's in a strip mall, to a university in a strip mall, and then they finish the season losing to a team in San Jose State that's got 8 freaking wins on the year. I know the Mountain West is saying, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, Boise State.
It's why you play the games.
Boise State should have just, not paid the exit fee. They would have just got kicked out anyway, and they wouldn't have to worry about getting embarrassed by San Jose State last night. We're going to take a deeper dive in the noon hour about how San Diego State is going to make the NCAA tournament. And by the way, for all the Aztec fans out there, I said it yesterday, I'm going to continue to say it. There is not anybody more lucky than San Diego State basketball right now in terms of things going their way. This is where you take advantage of things going your way. You know the saying in sports, when you get a call, you get a break, something happens where the other team kind of fumbles the bag, or you get a good ruling from an official that it's not very good for the game, but it's going to help you out. You know what the saying is? Got to make it hurt. Got to make it hurt.
I was going to say, don't ask questions.
No, got to make it hurt. Aztecs got to make it hurt because everything that they need to happen in the bubble right now is happening in the bubble. There is not a big bubble right now for the NCAA tournament. There's a lot of teams just one and done in their conference tournaments that they're competing with. Now, I saw the thing from Joe Lunardi this morning. He had the Aztecs actually in the first 4 out. They climbed from like the bottom spot of the next 4 out. They jumped into the first 4 out, Frank. And then Lunardi kind of reevaluated. Oklahoma's actually there. We're at a point where it's like, we're going to get 12 teams from the SEC in the NCAA tournament? Are you kidding me? Give me a break. This is why the guy's ranked 125 out of the 185 bracketologists, whatever it may be. We'll keep you updated in the noon hour on everything in college basketball. Now, I have to say, we're going to talk Padres baseball. We're going to talk about the World Baseball Classic, all that. We got a lot going on in sports here. But I want to start the show with this. I really want to start the show about how special a team is in San Diego. If you still don't believe how special this team is, maybe you thought last year was kind of a beginner's luck, kind of a fluke. If you still think this club is just a little nice expansion story, then you didn't watch what happened last night at Snapdragon Stadium, because San Diego FC did against Toluca FC in the CONCACAF Champions Cup wasn't just impressive. What they did, it was kind of unbelievable. It was gutsy. It was chaotic. It was emotional. And most importantly, It was a statement. San Diego FC beat the back-to-back Liga MX champions 3-2 last night. But that's not the headline. The headline is how they did it. They played most of the match with 10 men, and they finished the game with 9. And they still won. Think about that for a second. Soccer is a sport where playing one man down is already a massive disadvantage. Your shape changes, your energy drains, you're constantly chasing the game. 2 men down? Most teams are just trying to survive, but San Diego FC, they fought, they rallied, they took the punches from one of the best teams in Mexico, and then they punched back. Early in the match, things looked like they were going to unravel fast. Forward Marcus Varksen gets sent off in the 16th minute. Red card. See ya. Suddenly, you're down a man for basically the entire night, and then Toluca converts the free kick, and it's 1-0. By the way, against your goalkeeper, who's 19 years old, who just recently graduated from Del Norte High School. And you're going against the back-to-back champion of Liga MX in Toluca. I got the text from Frank halfway through, because Frank went to the game last night. I got the text from Frank. He's like, this team looks like they're playing a different level. Like, they're in a way different league, which we know they're in a different league. How much bigger they were, how much faster they were, how much more crisp they were early in the game. And you're thinking, okay, they're already a man down, and they're already down 1-0. Like, let's just see if they can kind of survive the night and hope for the best. But if you've watched enough soccer, you know how the script goes. You're down to 10 guys. You're down 1-0. You're playing a Mexican powerhouse. You're an MLS team that really was shocked. Everybody was shocked that you were able to make it through Pumas Unum the first time. I mean, game over, right? No, not this team. Not this city's club. Not San Diego FC. Instead, San Diego showed exactly what their players have been talking about since last year, that warrior mentality. Enter David Vazquez, Southern California kid, grew up watching Liga MX, grew up watching teams like Toluca, and now he's playing against them on a massive stage. And what does he do? He scores in the 32nd minute, then scores again just before halftime. Just like that, the game flips. Now Snapdragon Stadium is rocking. Now Liga MX champions are the ones under the pressure. And then comes the moment that might define the early history of this club. Of course, it's none other than Anders Dreyer. I mean, are you kidding me? The 2025 MLS Newcomer of the Year, one of the most dangerous players this team has. And in the 53rd minute, he unleashes an absolute golazo. One of those goals that reminds you why you love soccer. San Diego takes the lead. 3 goals. They score all 3 goals unanswered for a while with 10 guys against one of the best teams in Mexico. And even then, the drama wasn't finished. Late in the match, defender Mano Dua gets a red card. It's a second yellow. Handball in the box. San Diego's down now 2 players, 9 men. Penalty goes in for Toluca. It's 3-2. And now the final minutes feel like survival. Toluca is pushing. Shots are piling up. They finish a match with a 20-8 advantage in shots, but San Diego held the line. They defended, they fought, and they closed out one of the most incredible wins in this young club's history. And here's the thing that makes this even bigger. This isn't a one-off moment. This is a continuation of what this club has been building. Last year, their first season, San Diego FC shocked Major League Soccer. They set expansion records, 63 points, 19 wins, a run all the way to the Western Conference Final, the MLS Cup playoffs. And now in 2026, they've taken it even further. They've already knocked off Pumas Unum in the first round of the Champions Cup, and now they're going toe-to-toe with another Mexican powerhouse. And they're winning these games with resilience, with belief, with fight. Captain Yepi Tverskov said it perfectly after the match. This team keeps taking steps every game. First, it was establishing the style of play. Now it's about proving they can grind out results. And if you watched last night, you saw something important. You saw identity. You saw a team that refuses to break. You saw a team that believes it belongs on this stage against the best clubs in North America. Because let's be honest about the rivalry in this tournament. MLS versus Liga MX has always carried a chip on its shoulder. Mexican clubs have historically dominated this competition. They're deeper. They're more experienced internationally. But San Diego FC didn't just beat Toluca. They outfought them. And that says everything about the culture this team is building. Now, the job isn't finished. Now, Leg 2 is going to be very difficult. Coming up next week at Toluca Stadium in Mexico, and that's going to be a very hostile environment. San Diego will also be without 2 players after those red cards. But here's the thing. If this team can beat Toluca while playing most of the game with 10 men and the final minutes with 9, you think they're scared going back down to Mexico? This team believes, the city is starting to believe, and the rest of North American soccer is starting to notice. Because what San Diego FC did last night wasn't just a good result, it was a defining one. A moment that shows this club isn't just building something fun, they're building something dangerous. And if this is what they look like when everything goes wrong, imagine what they look like when everything goes right. Let's talk about it for a second. Let's bring in Frank Marchese. Frank Marchese was at the game last night. And Frank, what an unbelievable game from San Diego FC.
Yeah, the first 15 minutes, I'm thinking this is going to be a wash. I mean, Toluca, I have not seen, I texted you that it was very, very jarring to see what San Diego FC does to other teams, getting done to them and then some. They were getting out-muscled. They were getting outworked. They were getting outplayed in the first 15 minutes of that match. But I think the turning point, and this is why I think, as you, of course, Vasquez with the 2 goals, then you have Dreyer, who was the constant pressure all day, all night, I should say. Treveskov should be getting the man of the match for this game. After that penalty goes in, Dreyer takes the ball, runs out to center pitch, as you normally would to restart the game. Treveskov calls him back, and they all huddle up. And whatever Treveskov said to knock their heads together to get them to wake up, they did. Because after that, they were a completely different team the rest of the night from what they were in the first 15 minutes. They played, it's like they calmed down. They woke up. They figured it out. They're like, okay, yeah, we got punched in the mouth now. We really got to go. And to their credit, they did. And you could tell as the night goes on, that first goal by David Vasquez was a surprise, but it was also one that I think was really, really big for him because he was getting fouled a lot. He was getting fouled hard a lot. So for him to get that goal was incredible. The officiating last night was oh so horrid. It was so bad. That schmoz at the end of the first half, that took at least 3 of the 5 minutes. And there was no continuation. That 5 minutes isn't gospel. The way they were playing, they could have gone another minute or 2 after all of that was settled out. And of course, it was Vasquez that was right in the middle of it. He got fouled. Then I believe it was Dreyer got pushed down right in front of both the line ref and the main official. A yellow card immediately handed out to his credit, but I mean, come on. That was clear as day, and then there was a schmoz at the end of it. And then to come out with the fire that they did in the second half, getting the goal within a minute of starting the second half, and then Dreyer getting one less than 10 minutes after that. It was stunning to watch. I have never seen a team go down 10 men and get better because of it. They hunkered down, and then after they got that 3-1 lead, they really leaned on that young back line, and every single one of them, to a man, did their job. Luca Bombino was a pest. Dua was incredible all night long. They had Pilcher come in on the other side at the end of that game. He was great. Defending gets a lot harder when the 2 defenders that they're attacking all night long in Bombino and Dua get yellow cards late in the game. The only 2 decisions that the official made last night that you can't really argue are the two penalties. Dua, that one obviously hit his elbow, forearm. It also didn't help that he flung his arm out there to try to deflect the ball away. That's another huge thing to mention as well. Toluca gets 2 pass free. Both of them are from the penalty spot. Neither one of them are from play. Both of them are from the penalty spot. So if San Diego FC cleaned that up, I would even say didn't give up the second one, that is a huge, huge swing for San Diego FC. And I think that Ingvartsen red card that happened early, probably the best thing that could have happened to them all night, because that is what woke them up.
I thought overall the performance was gritty. I thought it was it was impressive to watch. And the other thing too with like San Diego FC, and this is the style of play that makes me love to watch, is it's not like it's for somebody like me that doesn't like soccer as much as the next person does, right? I've never really been that into soccer. I can want, and I'm more of a football guy. The aggressiveness of Mikey Varis's teams make it fun to watch for the average American that doesn't really find themselves liking soccer. I put on the game last night. I was like, oh, they're going after it the whole time. They didn't go into protect mode until they only had 9 guys out there, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, they're basically in a penalty kill like in hockey. But I thought overall that was a very incredible performance. And I mean, think about everything about this game in which things were not in which things were not going San Diego FC's way. And on top of the fact that you got a 19-year-old in goal for San Diego FC, and he only allowed the 2 penalty kicks, which is going to be very difficult to deal with anyway. But you were able to be great defensively with 10 guys, and then for the most part, great defensively with 9 guys, and still be on the attack for most of the game. It was really impressive. Now, is that enough to advance to the next round? I don't know. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to do that. Road goals count more than home goals do. So giving up that goal late obviously really hurts them in the overall advancement of San Diego FC. But so far, Frank, our conversation about San Diego FC is like, well, we'll see if they can match what they did last year. They got to be able to, see how they do against Pumas Unum. And then they beat them. And then it's like, well, let's see how they do at the beginning part of the MLS. They've shut everybody out in the MLS. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, well, Toluca's super good. Like, they might get their ass kicked, but like, let's see how they do. And then they beat Toluca at home. I mean, at this point, they're playing with house money going down to Mexico. If they lose to Toluca down in Mexico, so be it. But they give you that sense of hope that they could go down there and really not lose to Toluca, even though I think it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to do it. I mean, most results are not going to go in San Diego FC's favor unless they go down there and just win outright. Yeah. But we need to take a break. We'll talk more about this on the other side. Juan in Oceanside wants to weigh in. If you want to weigh in, 833-288-1973, 833-288-1973. Just an impressive victory for San Diego FC last night. We'll continue the conversation. Plus, Forza Italia. We'll talk about the Italians punching the ticket for Team USA last night as well on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. If you want the biggest story in University of San Diego athletics right now, it's not actually the season ending, it's the future. Torero's men's basketball team just wrapped up its year with a heartbreaking 58-56 loss to Seattle in the West Coast Conference Tournament, where USD had a shot to win it at the buzzer, but the three-pointer hit from the front of the rim. And the real headline, though, it's the program's reset. Athletic director Kimya Massey moved quickly and hired Iowa State assistant J.R. Blunt, one of the fastest rising defensive minds in college basketball, as the new head coach. And this move comes with serious backing. Reports say that the University of San Diego is building a $2 to $4 million war chest NIL pool to support the roster and compete in the West Coast Conference. So even though the Toreros finished 12-21 this season, the expectation moving forward is very different. The question now becomes, can this new investment and coaching hire turn USD into a real contender in the West Coast Conference, or will programs like St. Mary's, continue to dominate the conference in the future? Let's start with men's basketball, Frank. The Toreros season comes down to a heartbreaking loss to Seattle after they won the first game of the WCC men's basketball tournament. They had a chance to win at the buzzer. Forward Vuk Boskovic launched a go-ahead three, but it hit the front of the rim as time expired. Boskovic led the team with 14 points, while Gavin Ripp continued his late-season surge with another double-digit game. Tenari Lane played all 40 minutes for the second straight night. The loss capped the season where USD finished 12-21, but there was still noticeable progress, and the Toreros doubled both their overall wins and conference wins from a season ago. It's the end of the Lavin era, and now new beginnings with a new head coach.
Yeah, absolutely. They also opened the West Coast Conference tournament with a big 66-62 win over LMU, who destroyed them twice during the season, snapping a 6-game losing streak against LMU. Bigger story surrounding USD basketball right now isn't the season's end, but what comes next. As you mentioned, Steve Lavin out, and now J.R. Blunt looking like he is going to be taking over as the new head basketball coach for the Toreros.
Yeah, he's widely respected around college basketball as one of the brightest young defensive minds in the sport, known for relentless work ethic, strong recruiting ties, and the timing matters. And we've talked about this already. There's been reports, but USD leadership has reportedly begun building a $2 to $4 million NIL pool to support the program, which is a major investment designed to help the Toreros compete with top programs in the West Coast Conference. So the season may have ended, but the rebuild is just getting started. And here's the thing, just for context about how much money that can get you. San Diego State works with about $2.7 million for their roster. So if USD can be at that level as San Diego State in town, you're going to have some really good competition in basketball here in Southern California. And we haven't even talked about the Tritons yet. If you're UCSD, 2.7 for the Aztecs, maybe 3 to 4 million for USD. You're going to be in the same conference as USD. That's another team that's going to have to just up their money a little bit. But men's basketball in town, I think, as disappointing as this year has been for a lot of the schools, the future is very bright for all three of them moving forward. Let's talk about women's basketball. Tournament fight shows progress for the women's side. They also saw their season end in the West Coast Conference tournament on Friday, but they showed plenty of fight. They opened the tournament with a 62-6, 62 win over St. Mary's, led by Kylie Ray and Haley Rhodes. Ray posted a 19-point, 10-rebound double-double, while Rhodes added 22 points to push the Toreros in the second round, but that's when the season ended.
Yeah, unfortunately, it ended the next day with a 62-51 loss to San Francisco. A lot of optimism, though. Freshman Olivia Owens finished last year averaging nearly 16 points per game over her final 11 games. That's showing the kind of development that could shape a program's future.
On to baseball. Tough weekend for Brock Ungrich's crew. They hit the road and ran through a tough opponent in the California Golden Bears. Toreros dropped the series opener 11-1. They fell twice in a Saturday doubleheader, 15-9, which they had a lead, and then 9-1. There were still some strong individual performances, though. Jaden Lobliner stayed red hot at the plate, going 3 for 3 in the opener, hitting .419 over his last 10 games. Meanwhile, Stanford transfer Gabe Springer delivered a breakout performance in the first game of the doubleheader. He went 4 for 4 with a homer, a double, and 3 runs scored.
Yeah, freshman Phoenix Brandt also added his first collegiate home run. The problem wasn't entirely offense. In fact, USD actually jumped out to 4-0 and 6-2 leads in one of the games before Cal erupted with big innings late. So the big takeaway for the baseball side is the bats are there, but the pitching depth will also need to stabilize before conference play continues, very much like what we just discussed with San Diego State.
On to softball, nearly pulled off one of the wildest comebacks of the year as softball nearly delivered. Crazy about the bubble stuff. So like Lenardi earlier. So Lenardi last night, Joe Lenardi last night. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. You're listening to the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. We're going to keep you updated on college basketball as the day goes on. I mean, there's all these games going on in conference tournaments, which is fantastic. Next week, hey, you know what, Frank? Next week at this time, you know what it is?
I think I have a guess.
Play
Yeah.
the song. Yeah, we'll be talking about NCAA tournament games next week at this time. We do have the first 4 coming up on Tuesday. Should be great. Would be awesome to have San Diego State and UCSD in there, but we'll see.
It was projected, was it not, in one of the more recent bracketologies that Hofstra could be coming out here?
I saw one last night from Lenardi that had Hofstra and High Point coming to San Diego in the same bracket, and I'm pretty sure they had Tennessee playing Hofstra.
If Hofstra plays out here during our show, I am going to lose my mind.
Yeah, you better hope they're in the second session. But
I am going to hate everyone.
Here's the thing, though. Like, they're going to be in the opposite session as Arizona. So the question becomes, do they want the 1 seed Arizona playing late at night against whoever the 16 seed is, or do they want Arizona playing a 16 in the middle of the day? Because it's going to be the 2 sessions. It's going to be the 2 sessions. So you're either going to have the night session or you're going to have the early session.
Please, for my sake, play early in the day because no one's going to care about who Arizona beats up. Please.
But I also think, like, I saw it might be Arizona and then UCLA is in the 8-9 game. I mean, those games might be at night.
Yeah, that would be it.
They might have the Hofstra and the tennis. Because, like, if you look at now I'm going down the rabbit hole of, like, the bracketology on ESPN. Again, everybody's got their own deal. But the one I saw, you might be SOL. You might be in the early session. It says, oh, now it's flipped out. Now they've moved Hofstra.
Okay,
they've updated the bracket. But Vanderbilt, Texas Tech, High Point, and Utah Valley. Those games are probably going to be going on during the middle of the day. Probably. Sorry, buddy.
As long as they're not playing here. As long as I know for a fact I don't have a shot to go see them, I don't care when they play. If they play here, there might be a sick call.
Don't be that guy, bro. You're not that guy, bro.
Really? This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm taking it. I will take.
Make sure you get your PTO in early.
Hofstra.
Did you not get the email for everybody else that you're supposed to get at least it's supposed to be 2 weeks, maybe more?
Hofstra in San Diego in the national championship. If they were playing UCSD,
it's not the national championship. It's the NCAA tournament.
Whatever.
The national championship is for the final 2 teams.
Fine.
Don't confuse people thinking Hofstra actually made the national championship until they actually do.
I'm not that lucky.
If I would be flabbergasted if Hofstra 1 made it out of the first region.
I doubt they will.
And then 2 made it far enough to go to the Elite 8, and then 3 make the Final 4, and then be playing on a Monday in April.
There is no shot they will be.
Anyway, the latest one has Hofstra going to Philly. Wouldn't that be great for you? You should go with them. It's your favorite town, isn't it?
Yeah. Something like that.
Purdue, Hofstra, St. John's, South Florida. St. John's Hofstra might go bonkers. That would be awesome.
Long Island's got a couple teams. LIU made it also.
Yeah, Long Island has already punched their ticket. They might be coming here to play Arizona. You going to go for that one?
No.
Not going to go watch the Sharks?
No.
You know, the Sharks coming back to San Diego for basketball to get smoked after their baseball team came out here and got smoked. Long Island's going to stop coming out here.
It's called a full circle moment is what that is.
Yeah, they're just not going to be playing San Diego State. All right, let's get back into what we're talking about with San Diego FC. We'll talk about the WBC here in a second as well. But Juan in Oceanside called in. Want to get his phone call today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Everybody that joins us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big banking. It's better. Juan, what's going on, man? How's your Thursday morning going? Hopefully you're staying cool.
Yeah, it's great. I'm actually indoors and I'm cool, so I'm pretty glad about that. But I'm also really happy about San Diego FC last night, showing the performance they did. I kind of just want to bounce off of what Frank has been saying, which is early on it did feel like, oh no, this could be one of those games, especially with the red card early. And I think that the 2 red cards are the only time the official ever made a correct call, because even Mexican media this morning was talking about how Toluca was being kind of bailed out by the officials all night, and they still couldn't make good opportunities, couldn't get a goal in open play. And you got to give credit to the back line. Like Frank said, Manu Dua did a great job until, that handball happened, which, I mean, it is what it is. But also, I think Toluca was really thrown off by Anders Dreyer. They couldn't keep up pace with him, which is kind of shocking because Toluca is a team that can keep pace with the best of them, and Anders Dreyer seemed to kind of shock him a little bit. So just want to get your thoughts on that.
I thought and Juan, I appreciate the phone call. Stay cool out there. It's a hot day today. But I'm just saying, the San Diego FC performance last night was phenomenal. And Anders Dreyer was a problem for Toluca for most of the night. But just any way you want to talk about last night's game, and we're going to talk more about it in the 1 o'clock hour, the one word I keep going back to is remarkable. It's remarkable that they were able to play with 10 and then 9 guys during the match. It was remarkable that an MLS team could not only hang, but then at some points dominate the best team from Liga MX and their home stadium. It's remarkable how Anders Dreyer was able to play on the offensive end. It was remarkable how a 19-year-old goalie was able to keep Toluca out of the net aside from just the penalty shots. I mean, it's remarkable what they were able to accomplish last night. And you're even getting some of the praise, well, not really praise, but, the Mexican media, as Juan said, talking about, hey, the Toluca was given gift after gift after gift, and they still couldn't take advantage of it. I think that tells you the respect that San Diego FC is now getting from not only the United States, but also internationally here in North America.
Yeah, and that is a huge show of respect, and they've definitely earned it for sure. I mean, to come in and beat Pumas, not just beat Pumas, but beat them as handily as they did, and then doing more or less what you expect them to do when they went in the second leg with such a big lead. But now to take the best shot that Toluca could have given them, not only to just take it and eat it, but to be down a man the entire match and still beat them, put up 3 against them. That you can't do anything other than, yeah, they got us. They got us pretty good tonight. And again, it was so unexpected from how that match started, because they were so on the back foot. I haven't watched every single San Diego FC match, but I've watched a vast majority of them. I have never seen this team, even in their losses, be as outclassed and on the back foot as they were in those first 15 minutes against Toluca last night. They looked like a completely different team than what we've seen out of them. And how they pulled it together last night, I will never know. But last night's game, and this I think is the highest praise that you can give to a team, last night's game was a game that made somebody a fan. You became a fan of that team if you watched that game for the first time. If you watched that team for the first time last night, that's the type of game that makes you a fan of a team.
It was fun. It was fun to watch. It was great that you were able to watch it on television, right, on Fox Sports 2, right? So
yeah, no kidding.
More access, I think, would be better. I think it would grow a little bit more if fans had better access to watch this product and not behind multiple paywalls to watch the MLS. But 19-year-old goalie last night, remarkable. Anders Dreyer last night, remarkable. Playing with 10 guys, then down to 9, remarkable. Scoring 3 goals with just 10 guys.
Let's take the
remarkable.
Farid, 19 years old. Bombino's 19. Dua's 20. Vasquez is 19. I mean, that is a young team, and my God, they're good.
They are. Let's get one more phone call. Ed in Escondido wants to weigh in. Ed, what's going on, man?
Hey, I was at the game last night, San Diego FC, and the referee is a World Cup referee. I mean, he was calling every little thing, which is good in some ways, but he was right on those 2 penalty kicks. So I disagree with the previous caller. I think the referee did an outstanding job.
No,
the previous caller, Ed, and I appreciate the phone call, Juan said those were the 2 that he got right.
Yes.
Those are the 2 that he got right. And then the Mexican media said this guy was given this guy was given the Toluca breaks all night long. It was the other parts of the game that really stood out to a lot of people that watched it yesterday. But yes, the penalty shots were correct. I don't think anybody was upset about those.
By the way, Prolific, he was not Mexican. He was Guatemalan, I believe. Last night, if I remember the sheet right.
I don't know, nor really care at this point. He's just official for FIFA World Cup ref. But, it's going to be like that. Sometimes it's going to be good. Sometimes it's not. When we come back, Forza Italia. We'll explain more. Braden Surprenant Show. Standing Summer Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot to get to here on the update for San Diego High School athletics. And the biggest takeaway this week in San Diego High School sports, the section keeps producing great teams, but the CIF state playoffs are a completely different animal. Multiple San Diego teams made deep runs, but a lot of seasons ended just 1 or 2 wins short of a state final. Competition in Southern California is brutal, and we saw that play out across basketball and soccer this week.
Yeah, exactly. Let's start with the deepest run. Francis Parker School girls basketball had the best season in program history, winning a San Diego Section Open Division title and reaching the SoCal Regional semifinal, but it ended in heartbreak. They led by 12 points in the second half before falling 85-79 to Rancho Christian School. The story of the game was freshman phenom Addison Archer, who exploded for 44 points. And no, that is not a typo. I did not misspeak. 44 points in a state semifinal as a freshman. That is insane.
Parker had 4 players in double figures, including 29 points and 12 rebounds from Brianna Brown, but Archer just kept attacking the rim and living at the free throw line. Despite the loss, Francis Parker won the Open Division, won 2 state playoff games, and had the deepest run in school history. And that's a season to build on and something to be proud about over there in Linda Vista. But Vista had a little bit of a surprise run. Another impressive run came from Vista High School. Panthers reached the Division V SoCal Regional semifinal, but their run ended in a 43-35 loss to Shure High School. They finished the season 20-14, which doesn't jump off the page until you remember this was a first-year coach in Deanna Hale and a team that barely got into the playoffs.
Yeah, they beat 2 teams in the state tournament before finally running into a defensive wall. Senior Isabella Mosley led the team with 17 points, but Shure's 1-3-1 zone shut down Vista's offense most of the game. Still, for a first-year head coach, that is a pretty darn good season to set a foundation for.
Absolutely. Now, other teams in San Diego struggling in basketball. Overall, the state playoffs, rough for the section. San Diego teams struggled against the bigger programs in Los Angeles and the Central Valley. Torrey Pines High School boys basketball lost to Palisades Charter High School. Carlsbad fell to Bakersfield Christian. Poway saw its 7-game win streak snapped by Birmingham Community Charter High School, and that's the reality of the state tournament. You're playing major metro powers every round. A lot of those teams did really well in the CIF playoffs down here in San Diego. State playoffs, just kind of a different animal.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same thing you could say with soccer as well, as Coastal Academy made some big history. The biggest local story outside of basketball belonging to Coastal Academy High School girls soccer, the Stingrays advanced to its first ever CIF state soccer championship with a 2-0 win over Kennedy High School. Now they've won 6 straight matches and have 15 shutouts this season. They will face Lowell High School for the state title, a huge moment for a smaller North County program.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive on the soccer side, but we had more soccer close calls. San Diego also had a few teams just fall short of the state finals. Del Norte lost 1-0 to Mater Dei. San Pasqual lost 2-1 to Miramonte. Both teams had strong seasons, but ran into elite opponents. Let's move to some spring news in volleyball. They're already ramping up. Boys volleyball had a big showcase at the Best of the West tournament. This event featured 12 of the top 25 teams in the country, and San Diego actually held its own. Team finished in the gold division included the Bishop School, Torrey Pines, La Costa Canyon, Carlsbad, and Poway. And one interesting storyline, Torrey Pines star Griffin Dieter, one of the top liberos in the country, switched to outside hitter this season at 6'4", not your typical libero anyway, and it shows how deep some of these San Diego volleyball programs are.
Yeah, absolutely. And then going back to your world of football, one more note from the football world. Former La Jolla County Day School star quarterback Braxton Burmeister is returning to San Diego high school football. He is joining the staff at Mission Hills High School as offensive coordinator. Burmeister still holds San Diego section records for career passing yards at 11,512 and career touchdown passes at 127. And he will be working with a future 4-star quarterback in Ferreira, I believe. And that could really be an interesting program to watch this year.
Even in the offseason, you still find news for high school football here on our updates. So a lot of stuff to report on the high school stretch as the winter season is coming to a close and spring season is in full force. This is what happens when your entire midday show is Italian. You get the excitement. I'm surprised. Why? Where's the espresso shots? Forza Italia last night helping out Team USA. The big victory in the WBC. I love the story. I love it. He's Frank Marchese, Sicilian. I'm Braden Surprenant, Sicilian. Are you Sicilian or just Italian in general? Yeah. All right. Okay. Did you see the sign that one of the Italian fans had? It was just this, the pinch emoji out there. It's great. Phenomenal. We love it. We love it. So last night, Team USA needed a miracle. Not really a miracle. They needed a couple of things to go their way to potentially make it out of the pool play. And they were unable to do that on their own because of every reason that we talked about on yesterday's show about the massive mess up and fumble of the bag that Team USA had. So what happened last night was a couple of things needed to go Team USA's way. It would have been utterly embarrassing for Team USA to not advance to the knockout round out of pool play. That would have been embarrassing in its own right. But then to not advance out of the pool play because you decided to not play some of your guys because you thought you already clinched is even more embarrassing. And thank goodness for the Italians. God bless the Italians. Let's not, we could talk about the fact that they're all Americans and just Italian heritage, which is, that's neither here nor there. But what is
a Pasquatch? Is he Italian? Is he American? What is that?
Pascatino?
Yeah. His nickname is the Pasquatch.
Not Vinny Bag of Donuts? I would prefer Vinny Bag of Donuts, to be honest with you. But thank God for the Italians. How about Vinny Pascatino yesterday hitting 3 home runs? That guy probably never went to sleep last night because of all the espresso shots he had to do. I think the entire story about Team Italy is fun. And here's the part, though. Like, the president of Italy, she actually mentioned it in one of their Congress, whatever their parliament is in Italy, about the Italians beating Team USA in baseball. And since then, they had Francisco Cervelli on Hot Stove this morning. And he said, it's tough. It's hard for the Italians to watch because it's at 3 a.m. in Italy. But after we beat Team USA, there's a lot of people in Italy that are now paying more attention to the WBC. And then after the big win over Mexico, now all of a sudden, Italy is starting to really get behind the Italian team, which is great because the whole point of this is to grow the game. And Francisco Cervelli does a lot of work in Italy to develop young Italian baseball players to help grow the game. And this is great for Italy. This is great for baseball that you see another country that's so, Italy is very soccer heavy. I don't think anybody really argues with that. And the fact that they're going to be into baseball a little bit more and are getting excited about it, that's great. That was the best news I thought of the day, aside from some of the other things with the WBC. But the Italians starting to back baseball, Frank. It's great.
This is the point of the World Baseball Classic.
That's right.
Grow the game. Find a way to get people who never were really invested in the game. That's doing the job of what this tournament is meant to do.
And that's exactly what it's doing. They're trying to grow the game, get more of the best athletes in the world playing your sport, increase the league, right? that's what you want to see. So good for Team Italy. Even I know they're all Americans. I think they're they're all Americans managed by a guy from Venezuela who's also Italian descent. I don't know if there's anybody. Is there anybody on Team Italy that's actually from Italy? Or are they all Americans? I think they're all. They were talking about it last night on the broadcast. There's like 4 guys that played in the SEC like 2 years ago.
That is a good question. And for all good questions, we turn to the Google machine. And I will get back to you.
All right. So Italy thumps Mexico last night. And what needed to happen was, Team USA now narrowly avoided a shocking early elimination for the WBC after getting unexpected help from Italy and their national baseball team, which is, again, all Americans. Despite losing to Italy earlier in the week, Team USA advanced to the knockout stage when Italy defeated Mexico 9-1, which ensured the Americans then finished with one of the top run differential tiebreakers in Pool B. Without the Italian victory, the United States could have been eliminated in pool play, which would be a massive upset considering the star power on its roster. We would all agree with that. Nobody loves Team Italy more than Mark DeRosa today, I would imagine. Now, Team USA advances to the quarterfinals. They will face Canada. Oh, boy. Another Team USA-Canada mix. It would be ironic if Canada beat the United States in baseball in the WBC after the United States beat Canada in hockey. I hope that's not the case. But that should be a good one on Friday. Now, USA created its own problem by losing 8-6 to Italy a couple of days ago, one of the most surprising results of the tournament. That defeat forced Team USA to rely on the final game of pool play to determine its fate, as we've talked about. Because of complicated tiebreaker rules, which rely on runs allowed per out recorded, the Americans needed Italy to beat Mexico by enough runs to keep the U.S. run ratio favorable. They basically just needed Italy to win, and then if Mexico were to win, they had to score at least 5 runs. Once Italy scored 4 runs, it was over, as long as the game was completed in 9 innings. And at that point, because Italy jumped out to such an early lead, I was flipping it back to college basketball. But the hero for Italy, and indirectly for Team USA, was Vinny Pasquantino. Kansas City Royals first baseman had the historic performance. He had 3 home runs, first 3-run homer game in World Baseball Classic history. He had entered the game 0 for 12 in the tournament, but exploded against Mexico. His performance included solo homer in the 2nd, another home run in the 6th, and his 3rd home run in the 8th. And after the game, Pasquantino jokingly said, "You're welcome, USA." Obviously a moment that instantly became one of the most memorable performances in WBC history. Italy's win wasn't just about Pasquantino, though. Aaron Nola, 5 shutout innings. John Birdie hit a home run and was an offensive spark. Italy jumped out early and never looked back in this contest, building a comfortable lead that ultimately secured Team USA's advancement. And the game was played in front of nearly 40,000 fans in Houston, many of whom were supporting Mexico. Coming into the tournament, this version of Team USA was viewed as one of the most talented rosters the country has ever assembled. However, the early tournament results have shown the growing parity in international baseball. Even with a loaded lineup, the United States nearly suffered a major embarrassment by failing to advance. Now, their next matchup is against Canada. Team USA moves on to the knockout stage to face Canada. You're expected to see Logan Webb for Team USA and Mike Soroka for Canada. Canada advanced after wins over Puerto Rico and Cuba, finishing atop Pool A. A victory would send Team USA to the WBC semifinals, where they could run into the Dominican Republic. Now, a lot of people were having issues with Tubi last night. Frank, were you one of those people? Did you even try?
No, because I was at Snapdragon Stadium.
You had already gotten there?
What time was it?
The game was at 4.
Oh, no. No, I didn't even try in that case.
Yeah, you didn't even try. I didn't either, because aside from I knew I was going to see the highlights, but I tell you what, the highlights of the Dominican versus Venezuelan game,
Whew.
that was fun to watch. How about Fernando, by the way?
If he needed a kick in the rear end to get his swagger back,
Which I don't necessarily know if he did or not, but
this tournament definitely gave it to him. He has been rocking. He has been vibrant. He has been his normal self all these last 2 weeks. It's been unbelievable to watch.
while batting in the leadoff spot.
Why? Why are you going to do that? Why are you? Oh, why?
By the way, let me ask you this, Frank. Was he not locked in because he gave Contreras a hug before the game started?
No, he wasn't.
Was he not locked in?
Sorry. Too bad.
No, he was
locked
not.
in.
Could you imagine if he didn't do that? He would have been 5 for 5.
Yeah, what a jerk.
He would have had 4 home runs. He would have beat Vinny Pasquantino's 3 home run record in a game.
Just sabotaging yourself, Like, it's so sad to see.
Fernando Tatis Jr. yesterday was 2 for 5 with a run scored, 3 RBIs, punched out twice, had the home run. Do you know what Fernando's batting average is right now in the WBC?
630.
No, 462. Come on, dude. He's not.
I didn't know.
Not the
Throw a
son.
couple walks in there.
Not a miracle worker. His OPS. You want to guess his OPS?
1,300.
1534. Come on, man. Give this guy some credit. Fernando's been super locked in.
Why are you getting upset with me?
I'm not getting upset with you.
You got Sam to bash on in the next segment. What are you talking about?
Oh my God, the barbecue.
You got Sam next segment.
I'm not bad. I'm just, one-liners fast, dude. You got to be on your game. It's a Thursday. Let's go.
No.
Manny Machado 0 for 5 yesterday. He's hitting 250 with an 859 OPS. He has the second worst OPS right now besides Austin. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Geraldo Perdomo's not doing very well. He's 1 for 4. Last night, he's hitting 125, but right now, Fernando's been exceptional. And the thing was, and I do want to get to this later on because I don't know if you have it or not, but our program director, Adam Klug, sent to us the comments that Fernando made at FanFest that really highlight what he's been doing in the WBC. And since we're going to get into it in the next hour, his comments were, I still have my best baseball in front of me. Like, he spoke about it. Remember, he spoke about his offensive struggles, and he talked about why his best baseball is still ahead of him and why this year will be special. He has gotten off to a start to a year that is special, that could be special. And last year, we saw some of it. I don't think he got enough protection with Luis Arraez batting behind him, who, by the way, doesn't know what a single is anymore. WBC Arraez, I'd love to have on the team. That's the Arraez you paid for. Not the guy that you saw like last year. I mean, what Luis Arraez is this? Maybe Arraez needs a bat third. Maybe that's the case. Arraez 1 for 3, 2 RBIs and a walk. Guys hitting 500, 1743 OPS. I'm surprised Braden Surprenant hasn't called in to gloat about Venezuela's Luis Arraez, asking for the Padres to potentially trade for him. Waiting for that to happen. Dominican Republic wins 7-5. Venezuela kind of threatened there late. They put up 2 runs in the 9th inning to make it a 2-run game. But the Dominican Republic has advanced as the number 1 spot in this tournament. Venezuela is the number 2 out of that bracket. Here's how it's going to lay out for this weekend as we get to break. Quarterfinals will be on Friday. Korea and the Dominican Republic on Friday. Team USA and Canada on Friday as well. And on Saturday, Puerto Rico is going to play Italy and Venezuela is going to play Japan. That will be a good one on Saturday as we have all 8 spots punched. When we come back, got to figure out what Sam Levitt was thinking with barbecue. I got to hear it from the horse's mouth. Braden Surprenant Show. Broadcasting live from the Bill Howe Studios, we know how. Bill Howe is actually in attendance today. That's why I got all these balloons. Is they christened the studio, the Bill Howe Studios. So we are proud to be here at the Bill Howe Studios, and joining us.
We definitely know how now.
We know how. We know how. And joining us from the Bill Howe Airbnb or whatever Sam's staying at is Sam Levitt, who gives us Padres spring training coverage. An off day yesterday. His spring training coverage is brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. I gotta ask, how was the off day yesterday? It was good to finally get a little R&R. You went a little skiing, let the drive up to the northern Arizona. What do we got? What was on the how were the slopes yesterday, Sam?
Yeah, it was really fun. Went up to Arizona Snow Bowl in Flagstaff, about 2.5-hour drive. Little warm, enough snow to ski. Was a little icy in the morning, slushy, very slushy as we got later in the day. But that's kind of spring skiing, especially in a place that does not have a lot of snow. But just enough snow to ski and a nice off day. First off day of the spring, believe it or not. First day that I've not been at the complex since getting here on February 10th.
Did it skiing? I like that. Now, we got it. Where's the foul? We got to give him a foul where he's here. We got to give him the foul on the barbecue. I know he's been just wearing it right now on the foul. You know what? Here's the thing, Sam. I definitely criticize the barbecue as a barbecue connoisseur myself. I was disappointed in your plate the other day, but I will say this: I will give you the benefit of the doubt.
Only one.
I know you're getting killed probably on social media, but to be fair, I will say a weeknight at a barbecue place, if you want to eat a little leaner, you probably had the right plate for that. But overall, just the barbecue spread, my guy. What are we doing?
Well, not only did I wear it on social media and on your show yesterday, and I did listen to your segment yesterday, and I will address it in a moment. I did have a friend who also works in sports in San Diego text me, what's happening with this barbecue situation? I said, LOL, where did you hear that? So many people. I said, who? She says, my cousin, my coworkers, everyone. So apparently this barbecue plate made the rounds. Now, the funny part about it is when I posted the photo, I really didn't see, like genuinely in my brain, I genuinely didn't see anything wrong with it. Now, let me be clear. I'm not a barbecue novice, okay? For a guy who grew up on the East Coast, I spent 5 years, parts of 5 years, living in Texas. I lived in St. Louis. I've had a lot of good barbecue. I've had some excellent big-time Texas barbecue. I've had some excellent big-time Midwest barbecue as well. I will admit, it was not a great barbecue order. Here's the thing, and you made a good point. This was, I think, a fair point you made. I went to a barbecue restaurant not really wanting to eat a lot. That was my goal, and that's why I got the turkey. And here's the thing, too. They sold it per pound or by half pound.
Right.
And I asked them, I said, well, do you weigh it? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, so I don't have to get by the half pound. Like I can get, let's say, so I was like, well, I kind of want burn ends. Could I just get a few? And they were like, sure. So wanted to try the burn ends. You're right. The 2 slices of turkey was kind of a ridiculous move. But for one person, the turkey and the burn ends and the sides, it was enough for me for dinner that night. But I will admit that going there without the intent of really eating was not great. It wasn't great optics if I was going to share it with the world. Now, I will say, you're right. The mac and cheese was good. Nothing wrong with the mac and cheese. I do disagree on your coleslaw take. I think a good coleslaw can be really, really good. Now, I'm going to be honest, and this was a good place. Wasn't stellar, the coleslaw, and it was a lot of it. So I was like, that was kind of a waste. But, at least that day, none of the other sides really, again, I was trying to be healthy. So, like, I didn't want to do the cornbread thing. I didn't want to do they had all kinds of options. They didn't really have like a green bean option. That's what I was kind of wanting.
Sam, I'm gonna. The sides have to speak to you. They have to speak to you, and if they weren't speaking to you,
there was like
and
a
coleslaw
pinto
was a
bean
choice,
one,
and I'm, you know,
yeah, the beans can be kind of hit and miss. So I was trying. The root of the problem was I was trying to kind of go healthy while also getting
at the
barbecue. Now I am before I go. In less than 2 weeks, I'm going to go back and I'm going to have like a real sampling, like get some ribs. Maybe get some brisket, other things that I typically would like.
Leaner fatty brisket.
I like lean. That's me.
I'd rather have the lean stuff too. Chopped or sliced.
Yeah, I like lean. Yeah, I like lean. But yeah, no, I the funniest part to me though was genuinely when I posted that photo, I really saw nothing wrong with it. Truly. And the minute people started responding, I looked at it, I was like, yeah, that wasn't a great, like if you're saying you're eating barbecue, it's probably not a great barbecue photo. And the turkey was good. I was just trying to go a little healthier. But you're right. The turkey probably was a better side than it was like the main.
Get the turkey for like your girlfriend that wanted to like kind of nibble on something. It's not,
I do want to, and I think maybe this is where you were going. I do want to address the sauce.
Yeah, I got to know about the sauce. I mean, you know what? I gave you the benefit of the doubt. If you're going to try the sauces, you do have to spread them out a little bit. But it looked like an art.
Right.
Piece.
So I sit down, right, and keep in mind, I don't have that much meat. The only thing you're really going to dip in the sauce is the turkey on that plate. I don't have a lot of meat. So they had 3 different kinds of barbecue sauce on the table. They had I see Frank laughing. I get
phrasing.
Forget it.
Sam, you're doing it to yourself, my guy.
So they had like regular barbecue sauce, Carolina Gold, which you thought was mustard. That was Carolina Gold.
That's good. Yeah.
And then they also had like I think it was called sweet and spicy. Don't quote me on that. So they had 3 different types of sauces. So I said, oh, well, I have this small amount of turkey. I do want to try each sauce. So I just took it, little dollop, little dollop, little dollop. And I took the turkey and I dipped it in for each bite to try what I wanted. But it was, again, looking at the photo afterwards, I understand why it was a ridiculous looking plate. But I swear, and I do things like this sometimes where like my brain doesn't work like other people, where like I'll look at something, be like, oh, that's fine. I didn't even think about it. I took the photo, didn't think about it, checked my phone like 5 minutes later, and people are all over me. I'm like, huh. I go, yeah, I guess this kind of was a weird barbecue plate. But as I posted it, I saw nothing wrong with it. I genuinely saw nothing wrong with it.
Hey,
so I get it. I deserve it. I got it. I'm going to try to go back there and get a better feel. But again, the root issue, and wow, we've been doing this for like 8 minutes. Root issue here was that I was trying to eat healthy-ish at a barbecue restaurant.
It's kind of like going like, man, I really wanted to eat healthy, and so here's how.
And you're right.
And then you're like, and then you post a picture.
If you're gonna go to barbecue, right?
Then you post a picture of a salad at McDonald's. You're like, oh, this McDonald's place is pretty good for the first time.
That's basically what I was trying to do.
It's hard to do. You know what? When you go you're gonna get bloated on the salt anyway. There's so much salt on all that food. You can't go in there with the somewhat full stomach. You had the stomach for sushi that night, Sam, and you needed to. That's probably where the play needed to be. More than the barbecue. But you know what? We're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I tried to on the show as much as I could, but I'm just glad to hear that wasn't your best ditch effort for somebody that has spent time in Texas. As somebody that else has spent a lot of time in Texas, I wasn't mad, Sam. I was disappointed. I was really disappointed. You should know better than to put a barbecue plate like that.
And that's fair. And that's the thing about it too, is like, you're right. I've spent a lot of time in Texas, in multiple cities in Texas, okay? Amarillo, big barbecue town. Corpus Christi, I wouldn't call it a big barbecue town, but I've spent a lot of time in San Antonio and Austin, all over the place. I've had a lot of good barbecue. Like I've been to a lot of good places, so I know how this works. I know what it should look like. I don't have great reasoning other than to say I was trying to your point, eat a salad at McDonald's.
Let's talk about the Padres. It's kind of hard to report on stuff when there was a day off, and it feels like they haven't played in so long, and all that. But some of the trending storylines are some of the same things that we've already talked about. But another one today, the Union Tribune put out a bench argument for who could potentially be making this team, where the Padres want to go. And, the Sung-Moon Song conversation. We kind of briefly talked about it on Tuesday, but just to kind of recap, it's Sung-Moon Song might start on the injured list. Ty France is hitting. Jose Miranda is hitting. Do they want to have more help in the outfield? Do they want the infield spot? And Craig Stammen has now said multiple times after games, if you hit, we're going to find a spot for you.
Right.
So how is this bench playing out as you see it, based on reports you've been getting, based on conversations you've been having?
Well, I think the part you just mentioned, when Craig Stammen says that, I think, it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but there's also a degree of truth to it as well. And I think in this particular situation, if Sung-Moon Song is not available for opening day, which I think there's a pretty realistic possibility that's the case, considering this is at least some sort of re-aggravation of the same oblique injury he suffered during the offseason. And I do think this is the kind of thing where they want to get it right, and a totally different situation, but like, I'll put it in the same breath as like Joe Musgrove for a second, where this is about the greater season than necessarily opening day. For Song, let's assume for a second he's not ready for opening day. I don't know that's going to be the case. For all we know, he's going to be back in a couple of days and playing games, and he's ready to go. That's fully possible. But let's live in a world where he's not. Then, yeah, Braden, I think it totally opens the door for two guys in particular, and that's Ty France and Jose Miranda, both of whom have hit this spring, both of whom can play multiple defensive positions, both of whom who have had some level of success in the major leagues before. Now, of course, from an infield standpoint, you also have guys like Mason McCoy and Will Wagner, who are on the 40-man roster already. But I think it's pretty evident that France and Miranda give you a little bit more offense. They also play the corners, and without Song, you might need a little bit more of that. And France can play some second base as well, and Miranda can move around too. But I think, especially when you consider the offensive part of it, it opens the door, I think, for those two in particular, France and Miranda. I'm not going to say for sure that a Mason McCoy is not going to make it. For all we know, he will. But I think with McCoy, like, you kind of know what Mason is, which is, pretty good glove. You can play him in the middle infield, but he's not going to give you a ton of offense. And I do have the feeling that they'd be willing, and you're going to have to clear some 40-man spots here, not just for the potential France or Miranda, but for the pitchers as well. But I do get the sense that if Song is not ready for opening day, that, it really does open the door for a guy like a France or Miranda to make this team. And I think from an offensive standpoint, they probably give you a little bit of a lower floor, higher ceiling than a guy like let's say a Mason McCoy would. And also, it doesn't hurt that, France and Miranda can play some third base, and like, it's a little bit more similar to Song than necessarily a McCoy is. So to your point, I think those guys hitting, and also hitting in the major leagues before, does give them a pretty significant leg up if Song is not ready.
And I do want to ask a follow-up on that, just because, with everything playing out with the bench, I just feel like Miranda and France are very similar, to a sense. It's almost the same type of player. And you mentioned it opens the door for both of them. Do you see a world where they're both on the team, or is this going to be a one or the other? And like, how do they evaluate who they want more? I mean, obviously you have Ty France, who has been here before, as a San Diego guy, played for Coach Gwynn at San Diego State, right? And then you got Miranda, who's a lot younger, that might have a little bit more potential in the future. I mean, that's a very difficult decision. It seems like they're making a decision between two guys that not only are the same kind of player, but two guys that have had arguably the same kind of spring, aside from maybe Miranda facing a little bit less pitching because he hasn't had as many starts.
Yeah, I would certainly feel like those two would be redundant on the roster together. So if we're living in a world where Song isn't ready, I would probably say one of them makes the team. And I'll continue to say it. I still will be surprised if Bryce Johnson, especially if there are 2 bench spots available, if Bryce Johnson is not one of them. For a lot of reasons, and we've talked about it a ton. I think what he did last year, what he provides for this team in particular, they need a guy who can play outfield. They need a guy who can run. They need a guy who can, come off the bench and pinch hit. Not that necessarily he'll be the first guy off the bench, but certainly somebody who can do it. And it's hit a little bit before. And I just think you need somebody that can play some outfield. And Castellanos, yeah, he can do it, but I don't think he's in the outfield in an ideal world. And Duhar, yeah, he can do it. I don't think he's in the outfield in an ideal world. To me, they need like a 4th outfield type, and Johnson just fits that so well. I don't see a world where both France and Miranda take up those 2 spots, but certainly I think Song not being ready, and I think that's still to be seen, to be determined if that's going to be the case or not, because we still have 2 weeks left. But I think that very much opens the door to the possibility for France or Miranda.
I would be remiss if I didn't bring up another player that has actually had a really good spring, and I don't necessarily know if he has been good enough to really make this team, but it does add a lot of depth to this team with some power. But I mean, Jace Bowen's had a great spring in the 433-foot grand slam, athleticism, defensive ability, occasional power, still developing as a complete baseball player. But Jace Bowen's been very good in camp. And that's another guy that's forcing the conversation.
Yeah, it's a good guy to bring up. He's been good, and he does a lot of things well. He runs really well. He can play multiple outfield positions. The hit tool has come and gone for him in the minor leagues. He does have power, but he probably hasn't hit enough to force. He was with the Pirates, to force the Pirates' hand to get him a call up. But he's interesting because he's a physical specimen. He's kind of a big, strong kid. He was recruited to Michigan State as a wide receiver at a high school, so he's kind of like just a big guy. And he does do a lot of things well. But I think with Bowen, he certainly turned heads for sure. But I think this is somebody who's, probably will be down at El Paso and see what he does, right? And maybe at some point during the year, if you need him, and you certainly might, he could certainly be a guy who gets a call up. So to me, he's not an opening day roster conversation per se, but is somebody to note that I think if you have a need, and you certainly might, could be a guy that we see at some point during the year. He's done a nice job, and he does multiple things pretty well, which I think stands out. Is he going to hit enough to ever be an everyday big leaguer? I don't know. But I think he's possibly, because of his skill set, a guy who could help you off the bench and is somebody who could spot start. So, I don't anticipate that he would edge out Bryce Johnson for the outfield spot. I just don't see it. But he's somebody to keep an eye on for sure, and somebody we could see later in the year.
Last thing for you, Sam, because I got to get going and we got to take a break not too far in the future here. But since we last talked, we got to see Walker Buehler for a second time. Now, the conversation around Walker Buehler is you're not getting vintage Walker Buehler throwing 98. You're getting a new formed Walker Buehler that's mixing in the breaking balls, the velo on the fastballs a little bit different. He's throwing a lot more sinkers than he has four-seam fastballs. And the Padres have really liked what his stuff has looked like. But now he's more of a, I don't want to use the term crafty righty because it might be a little insulting to what Walker Buehler can do. But knowing where he's at right now and how he's pitched and the results he's gotten with the breaking ball stuff, as a breaking ball pitcher now and not a high velo guy, has he played his way onto this team? Because there's been reports that the Padres are really pleased with Walker Buehler. Meanwhile, you got German Marquez still battling. I mean, there's a lot of questions. Yeah. We threw in the Joe Musgrove thing again, not saying that he has hurt any more than he, just coming back, and the Padres want to be careful. But that's the other conversation that we had on Tuesday that has updates now, as Walker Buehler had another pretty decent outing for the Padres in spring training.
Let me start with the Joe part of it, and then I'll get into Walker. With Joe Musgrove, this is very much what the Padres anticipated. that there could be times where they need to slow him down, where they need to give him a rest. And I really think with Joe, for them, it's not so much about making sure 100% pushing him to get him ready for the first turn through the rotation. This is a situation where they want him healthy and at his best and able to perform throughout the course of the year and hopefully into October as well. So, again, is Joe giving you 200 innings this year? No, but if he's going to give you, let's say, like 140, 150, whatever it might be, I don't think they're so focused on, hey, he's got to be ready that first turn through the rotation. Like, if his arm was a little cranky and they need to slow him down and they need to make sure that he can do what they need him to do effectiveness-wise, availability-wise, throughout the year, I think they're very comfortable with the idea of like, okay, let's slow it down. And if that affects opening day, so be it. And I do think that's a possibility. I mean, we're 2 weeks away from setting an opening day roster. And meanwhile, we don't know yet when he's going to kind of ramp up again. So I think that's a fair question to ask. It does potentially open up yet another rotation spot if Joe isn't ready that first turn through for all these guys. Could be Buehler, could be Marquez, could be beyond that. But let's focus on Buehler, because I will say this. If all of a sudden they have to fill a couple of spots in the rotation, just like first turn through or maybe a little bit more, it's very hard for me to see a world where Buehler is not in there based on what he's done. And I think the potential of what he continues to work on. To your point, Braden, he's very clear about he's not going to be the guy that throws hard anymore. But it's not like he's throwing 88 either. Right. I mean, he's like 92, 93 with the fastball. He seems to, as spring is rolling along and as he continues to work with the Padres staff, to kind of be buying in. Early on, I think maybe it was a little bit of a feel out process with Ruben and the pitching group, but you can kind of tell there's a buy-in there. And the start against the Angels the other day in Tempe was a great example of it. It really was. It was a great example of him mixing and matching, and he threw very few four-seam fastballs. Now, he said he doesn't anticipate to throw that few, but it was a good example of him figuring out how to get a lineup out without being fastball heavy. And that was a major league-like lineup in Tempe. Again, not making too much out of it in March, but for whatever it's worth, he was, to your point, kind of crafty in figuring out how to get through 3+ innings and do pretty well. So, yeah, the sense you get from him is there's a buy-in to this quote-unquote new version of himself, and he is a guy who throws a lot of pitches, who's always had good stuff. And to me, it's this is kind of like a Ruben Niebla classic project of taking a guy who's got a lot of talent and maybe finding out what he does well beyond just throwing hard, which you really can't do anymore, and figuring out how this guy is going to get batters out. And there seems to be buy-in, and the results have been pretty good. And I'd certainly say if it ends up being 2 spots they got to fill in the rotation as far as opening day roster rather than just 1, I would think Walker Buehler is going to be on this team. We'll see.
I would think so too, Sam. There's a lot still to play out. As what are we exact? Are we 2 weeks now? One and a half. Today's Thursday.
2 weeks from opening day. We're a week and a half-ish away from the end of camp.
from
2 weeks away from opening day, though.
Sam
exactly.
Coming back and posting a sad Mexican food plate. That's what we're 1.5 weeks away from. Sorry.
No, go back, Toby, and get myself some good Mexican food.
I will take the foul on that one. That was uncalled for. But also, it just kind of wraps the entire segment in a whole. Sam, appreciate the coverage as always, and look forward to talking to you next week.
All right, guys. Sounds good. Thanks.
Sam Levitt, live from Peoria, held his feet to the fire in the barbecue a little bit. So, and I had to get the cheap shot in there at the end with the Mexican food plate. So we'll talk food with Sam when we come back later on next week. But Sam Levitt, his coverage is brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. When we come back, Frank and I will take a look and a deeper dive into the bench pieces for the Padres as we go to break of the Braden Surprenant Show. One of the best finishes of the season happened this week for the UC San Diego Tritons. Tritons went on the road to face UC Santa Barbara in the regular season finale, and it came down to the final seconds of the game. UC Santa Barbara actually took the lead with just 7 seconds left, but UCSD didn't panic. Tom Beattie pushed the ball up the floor, dribbled through pressure, and found freshman Jaden Vance cutting to the basket. Vance went up, layup with less than 1 second left, ball game. Tritons win 64-63. UCSD finished the regular season 22-10 overall and 12-8 in Big West play, earning the number 5 seed in the conference tournament. And if this finish is any indication, the Tritons might be one of the most dangerous teams heading into the Big West tournament. Let's talk about it, Frank. Tritons closed the regular season out in what was such a thrilling finish to the season, getting the game-winning bucket on the road with less than a second to go.
Fun game to watch from up at Phoenix Raceway. USD defeating UC Santa Barbara 64-63 on a last-second layup from freshman Jaden Vance. Vance scored the game winner with less than a second left. Triton scoring forced 17 turnovers and had 16 steals, a season high for them. Bull Dengdit led the team with 15 points, while Tom Beattie added 14. Hudson Mays also scored 12. UCSD finishing 22-10 overall and 12-8 in the Big West, which put them in a tie for third.
On to women's basketball. And women's basketball have had a really good season, a very historic season. Triton women are making program history right now. Defeated UCSB 72-65 to secure a share of the Big West regular season title. Team finished 22-8 overall and 17-3 in conference play. UCSD will be the number 2 seed in the Big West tournament with a double bye to the semifinals.
Yep, Michaela Rose, 25 points in the title clinching win. Lev Feeman, 16 points on 8 of 10 shooting. Erin Condren, 12 points. 8 boards. Dominic Maxey set UC San Diego Division I assist record at 136. As a program record, Erin Condren setting the rebound record at 255, and Michaela Rose broke the single-season steals record with 92 swipes over the course of this season.
On to baseball. Very tough road series for UCSD and Eric Newman's club. Tritons lost the series opener 9-5 to Cincinnati. They dropped the Friday doubleheader 16-1 and 13-3. UCSD is now 4-9 overall on the season, but they did have some bright spots.
Yeah, Gabe Camacho going 4 for 5 with a home run and 2 doubles in the doubleheader. He drove in all 4 of the Triton runs that day. He now has 5 homers, third most in the Big West, and now they finished up that series and will be returning home this week.
On to softball, where they had an early conference challenge. UCSD softball began Big West play against the defending champions, and they dropped the 2 games to UC Santa Barbara. They lost 9-2 in Game 1, 8-4 in Game 2 of a doubleheader. UCSD recorded 15 hits in Game 2, matching a season high, but still had some pretty good performers this weekend.
Malia Cherry hit a home run and now leads the Big West with 6 home runs. Haley Garcia, 3 RBIs in game number 2 of that doubleheader against the Gauchos.
Overall for the Tritons, again, this is a program and a school that is still building up from being a Division II program not too long ago. They have done some really good things already. Future is still bright, but you go back to the men's basketball team, just a thrilling way to end. And the Big West tournament, as we take a deeper dive into the Big West tournament, there are a lot of teams that are going to be a tough out in Las Vegas themselves. Irvine ends up winning the conference. Hawaii had a chance to take a share of the title. They choked it up at home late on Saturday to give the Anteaters the number 1 seed, not only the number 1 seed, but an outright championship on their own. But that top half of the Big West is very scary, and any of these teams can win.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking into UCSD's tournament, they're going to be facing Cal Poly on Wednesday in Henderson. So a nice little test for UC San Diego to get their tournament started.
should be a fun one this week. And we're going to have UCSD men's and women's basketball live on 97 through the Fan during the Big West tournament. Be sure to stay tuned for more Tritons updates next week. Don't think I didn't notice. In the chat during our conversation with Sam Levitt as we broadcast live from the Bill House Studios, he's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Gonzo, did you see Gonzo's Costco order that he dropped in there when he's talking with Smash?
I did not know.
The Costco dogs? I did not know. Oh, it's how you do it. It's how you do the ultimate. I don't want to say fat guy, but like really the ultimate fat guy meal at Costco. You've never heard of this one before?
No.
Rod wants to know, so I'm gonna now say it. You get a hot dog, a chicken bake, and a slice of pizza.
Oh, I have heard. Yeah. No, I know that.
Bite the top off the chicken bake, shove the hot dog in the chicken bake, wrap pizza around the chicken bake. That will feed you for a week. It will be enough calories for the week. Augie, it's big back, not fat guy. Big boned. I don't think you could eat. Frank, if you had that now, you'd probably have to have like one bite a day.
Yeah,
for 2 weeks.
Yeah, as recovering fat guy would not be able to do that. No.
Stoner fuel. Yeah, stuff the hot dog in the chicken bake, wrap it in pizza. At that point, you'd have to get the pepperoni pizza, would you not? I mean, wouldn't you have to get the pepperoni pizza?
I mean, what are you saving? What calories are you saving?
You might as well add the pepperoni to it.
You might as well
add the pepperoni to it, and then knock it down with the smoothie. That's probably 1,000 calories. No chopped onions available at Costco anymore. That's a foul on Costco. By the way,
he draws the foul.
The last part of the chat, and we're going to acknowledge here. Then we got to go to break and talk about this Padres roster before we get to the sports thread. Rad's mom. I was LOLing. Was I not LOLing? I was almost.
You were
rolling on the floor laughing.
You were
funny.
Definitely LOLing out loud.
Rad's mom had this to say about Sam Levitt's Mexican food plate. Sammy's Mexican plate: 1 rolled taco and a tablespoon of rice and beans. Got him. It's great. Oh, man. I was dying. That was so funny.
Boy.
That was great. You didn't think that was funny? That's hilarious.
No, that's good.
It's good. Got him. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Padres roster. Bench pieces. We got some insight from Sam. Now Frank and I are going to discuss. We'll talk about it on the other side. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. The San Diego Gulls just delivered one of their biggest wins of the season. After dropping 3 straight games, San Diego responded with a 6-4 win over Rockford, snapping the skid and keeping themselves firmly in the Pacific Division playoff race. And the night belonged to Ryan Carpenter. The Gulls captain scored his 100th and 101st career AHL goals, both on the power play, finishing with a 3-point night. The special teams were huge. San Diego scored 4 goals with the power play and penalty kill, including a shorthanded breakaway by Nikita Nestorenko. Rookie defenseman Stian Solberg added another goal, and Nicholas Brulard became the all-time goals leader in goals by a defenseman. The Gulls now sit 6th in the Pacific Division, but they're right in the middle of the playoff race. And with a big matchup coming up against San Jose this week, the question now is simple. Are the Gulls about to start rolling at the right time, or are they still searching for consistency before the playoff push? The Gulls may just have had one of the most important weekends of the season. After dropping the 3 straight games, Frank, they really bounced back with a big win over Rockford.
Yeah, 6-4 win over Rockford, snapping that skid, keeping themselves in the playoff race right now, sitting 6th in the Pacific Division at 62 points, right in the middle of the fight, only a few points behind Coachella Valley and Bakersfield. trying to stay ahead of Henderson and Tucson. So it's starting to feel like playoff hockey in the AHL already.
Yeah, this stretch is very important for the goals. But what happened this week? It started with a 3-2 loss to San Jose and the Barracuda. Goals were competitive, but San Jose continues to show why they're third in the division. Still, there were positive. Tristan Leno scored and continues to develop into one of the goal's most productive defensemen. Matthew Phillips added another assist and now has nearly 40 points on the season. And Sasha Pasturov continues to lead them offensively. And, it was they might have lost, but the games, again, continue to be competitive and close, even in losses.
Yeah, absolutely. And this next one is no different. They came home for a 2-game set against Rockford. Friday night did not go their way. They lost 3-2, despite goals from Passagov and Sam Colangelo. Head coach Matt McIlvain said the difference came down to a few mistakes that Rockford capitalized on. Saturday night, though, different story. Exploded for 6 goals, a 6-4 win, snapping the losing streak that they needed to really break. And it was a night full of milestones and big performances.
Yeah, you look at some of the key player trends this past week. A few players are really driving this team right now. Sasha Pastujov named leader he's now the team leader with 40 points. He continues to be the goal's most consistent offensive weapon. Matthew Phillips, nearly 40 points as well, has 10 points in his last 10 games. And defensively, Tristan Leno, 11 points in his last 13 games, looking more confident every week.
Yeah, absolutely. And also you got Callie Klang sitting in net, continuing to steadily improve, 14, 4, and 6 on the season after that big win against Roxford, ahead of guys doing what they've done, like Ryan Carpenter, his 100 and 101st career AHL goals, finishing with 3 points. Solberg scoring his 9th goal of the season in his rookie campaign. Nikita Nestorenko scoring the first shorthanded goal of his AHL career. Nicholas Brouillard becoming the all-time goals leader in goals by a defenseman, passing Brandon Montour, who's now off to bigger and better things in the NHL. So it's been a full team effort from the net all the way out to the center line.
And that's not even talking about Nathan Gauthier, who quietly has produced 12 points in his last 14 games as well. But here's where you're at in the standings. Goals are in a fascinating position right now. They're 6th in the Pacific Division, but the race is extremely tight. Ontario leads the division. Colorado and San Jose are right behind. Bakersfield and Coachella Valley sit just ahead of San Diego, but right behind the goals, Henderson and Tucson, both chasing playoff spots. So every point matters right now.
Yep, and every matchup is going to be inside the division, especially the upcoming ones against San Jose this weekend are now absolutely huge because you're fighting for those spots. You're fighting for every point that you can possibly find, if not to catch up, to stay ahead from those nipping at your heels behind.
Well, even the best part, too, is the goals survived the trade deadline.
Yes, they did.
The goals survived the trade deadline. The Ducks only traded away a couple of draft picks and a defenseman from the big club, from their own club. And so with not a lot of moves, a lot of young talent still here in the Ducks organization, but more specifically in San Diego.
Absolutely. And that's a huge, huge point that will probably be overlooked because you think the NHL is the key focus of the trade deadline. But for teams with minor league towns, those teams tend to get broken up pretty bad during the trade deadline. And San Diego was able to stay pretty firm and consistent.
Playoff push time now for the goals in the month of March on to the couple first weeks of April. Should be a fun one to watch here in San Diego. Remember to listen at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97tothefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I do want to get to a couple of things here before we get to the sports thread. And one of them is the bench conversation, but I do want to talk more about, and I'm going to give Frank an opportunity to grab that clip from Fernando. I do want to talk about what a great start it's been to, I wouldn't say the season, but just in general for a guy like Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, he is really taking center stage at the WBC. I mean, sure, yeah, the debacle of Team USA and like not knowing the rules, which, by the way, I saw a tweet last night going, congratulations to Mark DeRosa and Team USA for winning the World Baseball Classic. That's also part of it. But the Dominican Republic team and the excitement they have had and the talent that is Fernando Tatis Jr. really taking that by storm with the start of the season that he has had. I feel like he is about to really explode to a whole different level in 2026. And we talked about it, did we not? I mean, we had before the World Baseball Classic started, I had my open about Fernando being in the World Baseball Classic. He's built for this. He's built for moments like this. We have not seen Fernando play in a WBC, nor have we ever seen him play in a WBC and then start the season. I think this is the start to what could possibly be a great year for Fernando. And he teased it too. He talked about it at FanFest. We reiterated it on the show a couple of weeks ago. And now you're seeing this guy get off to such a great start to the season by dominating in high performance games and getting that playoff level atmosphere. I mean, if you look at Fernando, Fernando hasn't played in too many playoff games because he had that, 2023 collapse of a season. He didn't play on the team in 2024 in the postseason. 2025, 2022. Sorry, 2022 wasn't there. Didn't make the playoffs in 2023. 2024 was his first kind of taste of the playoffs. Didn't make it out of the first round. And then last year, 2025, again, only a couple of games in Chicago. You got the playoff level atmosphere. You got that vintage Fernando that we saw at the beginning part of his career. And he talked about it. And this is Fernando Tatis Jr. at FanFest, really, I don't want to say prophesizing, but really talking about him being able to play at his best level. And despite the struggles last year, he thinks he can have a really big year. Here's Fernando back at FanFest.
When you look back on last season, Fernando, what do you think some of the struggles were offensively for you?
Mechanical, more than anything else, but it was actually more about trusting a process that it was going in there, and that I wish I can go into more details, but I definitely feel that's definitely behind us, and I know this year on the offensive side is going to be really special.
You said, I believe it was last year, that when your head's in the right place, you're second to none on the baseball field. Is your head in the right place this year? It is,
and looking forward to keep going as a player and as a man. And like I said, my best years are definitely ahead of me, and this year is going to be one of those. But there's no limit, and now is due to myself to show you guys that.
Fernando talking about what could potentially happen this year and then backing it up early. Backing up early on a big stage in the WBC, in a passionate stage and playoff level atmosphere has been exciting to watch. I mean, you got so many people in social media going like, our team needs a trade for Fernando. Yeah, Yankees fans licking their chops like they're going to get this guy. It's like 1996 anymore. This guy's not leaving. And it's going to be good to see Fernando like that again here at Petco Park. I think Fernando's going to have a big year. I really do. Last year I thought he was off to a pretty decent start, but it took him forever to get that home run. The approach at the leadoff spot was obviously different. I don't think he got the protection behind him from Luis Arraez like he needs. But wherever he may hit in the lineup, I think the Padres are going to do a better job of protecting Fernando in that batting order so they can let Fernando play at this level and really be himself. Because I think that's going to help carry the Padres. We're going to talk more Padres baseball here in just a second. But we do need to let you know what's going on. What else is going on in the sports world? Let's get to our sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what do we got going on in the sports world today?
You know, nothing says guilt quite like saying, hey, please don't put that rule in. I'm begging you.
Oh, no.
Can you not?
Number 1.
The Big Ten Conference has asked the NCAA to temporarily stop investigating tampering cases.
How is Big Ten Frank going to defend this one?
Don't do it. Arguing the current rules simply don't fit the modern era of college sports. In a letter sent this week, the conference said tampering regulations were created before NIL payments, direct athlete compensation, and the massive transfer portal movement that now defines NCAA Division I athletics. The Big Ten pointed to examples like hundreds of players committing to new schools within hours of entering the portal, suggesting conversations are clearly happening beforehand and that enforcement has become inconsistent and unrealistic. The conference is pushing for a complete overhaul of the rules to reflect the current marketplace for college athletics. If tampering is already happening everywhere in college sports, should the NCAA legalize it and regulate it openly, or would that completely destroy what is left of the competitive balance?
The Big Ten basically is like, well, everybody's doing it. This is not, I don't know why there's tampering fouls. Why, what do you mean? Like Dave Chappelle with his friend. I didn't know I couldn't do that. That's kind of like what the Big Ten's doing right now.
Was that wrong? Should I not have done that? I tell you, I got to plead ignorance on this thing, because if anyone had said anything to me at all when I first started here, that sort of thing was frowned upon. Because I've worked in a lot of offices, and I tell you, people do that all the time.
I forgot that George Costanza works for the Big Ten. I totally forgot. That's my mistake. That is my mistake. No, they should be trying to figure out the rules and to eliminate tampering altogether. You should never be allowed to talk to players from the other team about transferring to your school, nor should you be allowed to do that in professional sports. And the problem is there's no rules. There's no rules. And there's no rules that can be enforced by the NCAA because everybody just sues them for them.
I think more of what the Big Ten is saying is these rules are out of date. So let's stop penalizing and fining schools based on out of date rules. Let's update these rules and then start doing it again.
I think they should definitely. Well, the problem though is they can't update the rules because then you're just going to get sued. And just like, you can't do this without our consent. You don't have antitrust law protections. You don't have or exemptions. You don't have a collective bargaining agreement. I mean, there's no reason. The NCAA can't enforce any of the rules. Did you see, I don't know if you have this in the sports thread or not. Did you have the SEC commissioner saying we might have to just break away and do our own thing?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, they might just start their own deal. And if they start their own deal, how many conferences are going to go with them? And just be like, yeah, we don't need the NCAA. We're just going to do our own thing. You know what? If that's what it takes, maybe they do that. Maybe the power conferences are like, we're see you later. We're going to make a collective bargaining agreement. We're going to put a draft in place. If you want to play in this, we're going to have trades, all that. I mean, hey, man, you wanted to be a pro. This is what it's like being a pro. Well, I want to go to this school. I don't want to get traded. Well, tough S, Johnny. You wanted the paycheck, big dog. That's what comes with the paycheck. You're not playing well. We're going to trade you for future draft pick considerations later.
Your boy's on television, by the way.
I love Brett Yormark.
Number 2.
What a great court they have, by the way. They got updated again for this round. It's phenomenal. Look at the Big 12. How strong is the Big 12 this season? The best in college basketball.
I guess you guys could tell TCU won last night. The Baltimore Ravens.
Were slipping all over the court. I was close to changing my allegiance to courts last night, but they pull it off. All right,
the Baltimore Ravens backed out of the blockbuster trade for Max Crosby from the Las Vegas Raiders, despite previously agreeing to send 2 first-round picks for the star pass rusher. Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta said he was, quote, gutted by the decision, but insisted the team had to act based on its internal evaluation, with league sources indicating multiple medical concerns surfacing during Crosby's physical. Baltimore quickly pivoted to sign Trey Hendrickson instead on a 4-year deal without giving up any draft picks, drawing criticism around the NFL about how the situation unfolded and whether the Ravens simply changed their mind. Did the Ravens make the smart move by backing out of the Crosby trade and signing Hendrickson, or does pulling out of a deal like that hurt their credibility with teams around the NFL?
I think it's both true. I think they're both true. It is a smart move to get out of that deal because giving up 2 first-round picks for a guy that's aging and has been beat up is not great. 2 first-round picks. That was dumb. And we talked about how dumb that was earlier in the week. And they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is dumb. There's something fishy going on with this particular deal. Plus, they saw the price for Trey Hendrickson going down, and they're like, hey, we could get a non-damaged player for way cheaper than getting Max Crosby. Let's just sign him. Forget Max. Let's just relinquish let's just say we're out. Use a couple of the medicals. Something about this stinks. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't really like the answer that they gave either about like, oh, we were so torn about this that we had to settle for Trey Hendrickson that's healthy and that doesn't have to cost us as much money because Max Crosby not only cost us first two first-round picks, but also a gigantic chunk of money because he's under contract for a long period of time. Yeah, sure, Ravens, sure.
Number 3.
A brief, heated moment at the World Baseball Classic between Cal Raleigh and Randy Arozarena grabbed attention after Arozarena unleashed a profanity-filled rant when Raleigh declined to acknowledge him before an at-bat during the U.S. versus Mexico game.
Go to hell.
Raleigh later said there's no beef, explaining he didn't want to show familiarity with a teammate while representing Team USA. The two spoke afterwards and smoothed things over, calling it nothing more than competitive emotions in the moment. When teammates face each other internationally, like in the World Baseball Classic, should they keep it strictly business on the field, or is there nothing wrong with showing some friendly respect during the game?
I think the Seattle Mariners had Wayne call them and say, figure it out. Figure it out. That's exactly what that means. Yeah, of course, the guy that did the wrong things, oh yeah, there's no beef here. We're okay, right, Randy? You know what it's like? It's like Toy Story, where Woody kicks Buzz off the ledge, out the window. It's like, it's fine, yeah, me and Buzz, good. Yeah. That's Cal Raleigh and Randy Arozarena. It's Woods and Buzz.
Woody, not Woods. Woods was not in the movie.
Woody was, yes, it was Woody and Buzz. Exactly. That's how I view that situation. See, look, everything's great. Everything's fine. Everything's great. Hey, I'm Woody. Howdy.
Only difference is that Randy Arozarena has both of his arms attached to him.
That is
Number 4.
That's also true. Cal Raleigh did not push Randy Arozarena
out a window
either, but that's exactly what I thought of immediately.
Lionel Messi. His contract was revealed recently. Lionel Messi earns between $70 and $80 million a year with Inter Miami.
Good for him.
When factoring in salary, commercial agreements, and ownership-related incentives, according to Jorge Mas. The massive investment has pushed the club to aggressively pursue sponsorship deals, including new stadium naming rights agreement with New Holdings for the team's upcoming home venue near Miami International Airport. Since Messi joined in 2023, Miami's value and on-field success has surged. $70 to $80 million a year is insane for an athlete.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. 100%. We're going to ask, never mind. I'm going to keep that to myself. When we come back, new lunchtime hour, Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Someone Sports Station, 97 through the Fan.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on 97 to the Fans, brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors, 2 locations, Sereno Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
Where are the tacos at? Do we got to update that graphic that we had, the art graphic we have, and throw a taco somewhere?
Yes, probably should. Yeah.
Might have to. Also, Squirrely. He goes, I see the graphic. I get the frog and the dog, but what is the thing circled out in front? Throw it up, Frank. Throw the graphic up. On YouTube. You know what that is, Squirrely? That is a no sign over a windsock. No wind socks.
No wind socks allowed here.
No wind socks allowed here on the Braden Surprenant Show.
Could you imagine how nice a Craft Taco logo would look right on that dome there in the back?
On the library?
Yeah, the library dome. That would be perfect.
You could put it on the gas lamp sign, I guess.
Nah, it'd look better on the library dome.
Craft Taco.
Just throw a giant Craft Taco logo on there.
I could take the hot dog off, put the Craft Taco logo on there. Oh,
no.
That'd be rude. Foul. Oh, cool. I was wondering. Yeah, no wind socks. It's the hidden Easter eggs of that graphic. We're putting that on a T-shirt. I am. I'm going to put that on either a black or a white T-shirt. So that will be up shortly. We still have to put the Sam photo on a T-shirt. I bet you a lot of people here would buy it. Sammy eats.
If we put,
Sammy swipes. We got to put a quote on there from Sammy too.
You know, if we put a picture. So our thought was yesterday. Let me get the exact quote. If we put Sam's barbecue order on a T-shirt with the saying, "I didn't want a lot of food. Can everyone relax, please?" on a T-shirt, would you guys want it?
Yes. I got to get enough yeses on there. Throw it in a poll. I got to have enough yeses on there too.
You got to have a poll on yours also.
That's fine. I'll put it up. I'll put a poll up on the stream here in a second. But yes, throw the poll up. Let's see. It'll determine whether or not I order them. I think we should. Sammy L's barbecue. Is the L stand for Levitt, or is that just a fat L on the plate that he put together?
Just don't think too hard about it. Just
say yes. Just
yes.
nod your head.
Yes, it
say
is.
yes, it is. Absolutely. All right. Let's get to some college basketball. And then later on in the show, we're going to talk a little bit more about this Padres roster. It's kind of tough to talk about the Padres roster when you're coming off of a day where they didn't play a game yesterday. It's like, oh, that's the exact same conversation we kind of had yesterday about this. But for anybody that missed it, we do have some of it. So anyway, let's get to the NCAA tournament. And let's start with the Aztecs. Yes, Wilbur, we know. By the way, how cool is this? Wilbur is texting us while he's getting ready for UCF right now. I've seen him on the court already.
You know what else I saw on social media? An old video of Wilbur getting into it with Sparky.
Was that our Wilbur?
I don't know.
I forgot about that. I did see that. Yeah, who wins that fight? I mean, Wilbur got his head knocked around. Can't be losing fights to Sparky, my guy. Come on, man. Fired up to Dorian Trucking, by the way. Shout out. He was the truck driver that drives around here. Who won the tickets.
Yes.
Just coming back from Peoria. Congratulations on winning, and then hopefully had a great time. Yeah, I think I saw they showed Wilbur up here, and he's obviously watching our stream while he's getting ready for UCF. They should destroy UCF. They should absolutely destroy UCF. All right. Let's talk about San Diego State basketball tonight. Aztecs men's basketball enter the Mountain West Conference tournament in Vegas with the season that has fallen short of expectations. Still has one final chance to be saved. I don't know. How many times have we said that? Season's over. Oh, wait. Everything worked out for the Aztecs. Here we go. Still alive.
Like I said, it's the luck of fools.
Luck of fools. I don't know if this is luck of fools or not, but a bid stealer's out there and might have just stole a bid for the MAC because Miami of Ohio has just dropped out. They're one of the last 4 in. So that's knocked San Diego State back again. So the Aztecs, this is how crazy this is. And I don't even think the bubble is that good. But with Miami of Ohio losing, we're going to dive deeper into this in the next segment. Miami of Ohio just had one of the worst losses you can have. Okay? They went undefeated in the regular season. They hadn't played anybody. They're popping off about it's like, oh, we asked everybody to play and nobody said they wanted to play. I will give them the benefit of the doubt on that because I know that Power 4 schools are afraid to play schools like Miami of Ohio because we see it here with San Diego State. Do you think Duke's going to be like, yeah, cool, we'll come to San Diego and play? No, absolutely not. Duke wants no business playing at Viejas Arena. And there's a lot of other mid-major programs like that are good enough to potentially snipe one of these teams. And so they don't even sign up for a game. Now, here's the deal. Miami of Ohio went undefeated this year, and their first game of the MAC tournament, they lost. A quad 4 game to UMass, who's not good. And so on the latest bracketology, Joe Lenardi has Miami of Ohio remaining in the field as an at-large following the loss to UMass. He also goes on to say that Auburn falls out of the field pending its date later this afternoon with Tennessee. Go Vols. Everybody that's an Aztec fan, go Vols. You're going to need Auburn to get knocked out. But as of right now, he's got Miami of Ohio as the last 4 in with VCU, Texas, and SMU. Texas and SMU have already lost. So maybe if you can make a little bit of hay. But here's what's dumb about the bracket here in the bubble. I agree with Augie. Auburn should be out on principle. Everything about that program is just like, let's just give these guys a chance to go to the NCAA tournament for no reason. But San Diego State, and I know this is the truth because if you go to the latest bracketology on ESPN.com, not like the one sheet that Lenardi is updating throughout the day, San Diego State coming into this morning before games start, like at the end of last night, the Aztecs were one of the first 4 teams out. They went from the bottom of the next 4 out to one of the first 4 out. Now they're back to the second team on the next 4 out. And they still haven't played a game. This is all from last Friday on to now. They have moved 6 spots up and down. But I still think the Aztecs have a pretty good chance of making the NCAA tournament. If they make the Mountain West tournament, I think it's going to be a sweat-out deal. I don't think you're going to be that confident about it, but I still think they have a chance to make an at-large without having to win. It's just better if they win the Mountain West Conference tournament. So let's get back into that. Aztecs have finished the regular season 20-10 and 14-6 in conference play. They have earned the number 2 seed in the Mountain West tournament. However, their season has definitely been defined by inconsistency, including losing 4 of their last 6 games. Head coach Brian Dutcher believes the team ceiling is still high, but he made it clear the biggest challenge in March is living up to that potential. The season that never hit its ceiling could describe the 2025-2026 season for the Aztecs. This roster entered the year with major expectations. It was viewed as one of the most talented teams on paper in program history. Instead, the season has been turbulent since early November. 2 early disasters set the tone. A double overtime loss to Troy, who, by the way, is in the NCAA tournament. They did win their conference. So you can't knock that loss too bad. But, Anyway. A 40-point blowout loss to Michigan. Now here's the deal. Like Gonzaga, who is going to be a 3 seed, also lost by 50 points to Michigan. So Michigan at that point was blowing everybody out by 40 or 50 points. But those games created a cloud over the season that the Aztecs never fully escaped. And now the reality is simple. To reach the NCAA tournament, San Diego State likely needs to win the Mountain West tournament automatic bid. That is the only way that you feel safe on Sunday if you're an Aztec fan. There's a couple of paths that they can make. Okay, and we're gonna dive deeper into this in the next segment. As I get distracted by the awesome Big 12 introductions on the court. Are you kidding me, Frank? That's not cool. That's not cool.
Squirrel.
Is it cool or not? That's all I want to hear.
Oh, it definitely is. I've been on your side. You're not trying to convince me.
I'm convincing the general public that the Big 12 court is cool.
I've said from the very beginning it was an awesome idea. I would love all the conferences to do it.
Frank knows ball.
By the way.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
It's fine. It needs to be addressed. What does Wilbur think? He's there. Back to the Aztecs. Now, tournament path. There's 3 wins in 3 days is probably the best path you're going to take. The Aztecs postseason path begins with the quarterfinal matchup tonight against Colorado State. The Rams have already beaten the Aztecs recently. They beat them 83-74 in Fort Collins just 2 weeks ago. And the challenge ahead is tonight against Colorado State, tomorrow most likely against New Mexico, and Saturday most likely against Utah State. If they advance through all 3 rounds, the Aztecs would secure the conference automatic NCAA tournament bid. The schedule is brutal. If the Aztecs reach the title game, they will play the final just 15 and a half hours after the semifinal because they have the late game on that side of the bracket. Now, the advantage, though, for the Aztecs is they historically dominate at the Thomas and Mack Center. Since 2008, 2009, Aztecs have won 48 wins. They have gotten 48 wins in the arena, the most wins by any D1 team in a venue that isn't their home court. And they've also reached the Mountain West Championship game 14 times in the past 17 years. As a 2 seed, they are 5-1 historically in the tournament, and the location and history give the Aztecs confidence heading into Vegas. Aztecs believe they can attack Colorado State with full court pressure defense. The first meeting in San Diego showed how effective it can be. San Diego State forced 17 turnovers, and they won 73-50. However, when they tried the same strategy at altitude in Fort Collins, it backfired. Playing at 5,023 feet definitely impacted their conditioning and execution, and now the rematch will be played at 2,000 feet in Las Vegas, where San Diego State believes its defense can thrive. The big problem, though, for San Diego State during these 4 of the last 5 games, 4 losses out of the last 5, has been the fact that the defense has fallen apart. Despite being known for defense, Aztecs' biggest concern entering this tournament is the defensive regression. Earlier this year, they ranked number 1 in defensive efficiency nationally, but recently, opponents have been averaging 81.6 points per game against the Aztecs, and they've shot 42.9% from beyond the arc. That is a major issue. But another major issue has been the rebounding, or should I say lack thereof. Aztecs are getting initial stops, but allowing second chance points. That's never a recipe for success. Head coach Brian Dutcher has emphasized that fixing rebounding and defensive effort is critical if they want to win the tournament. And the players know the issue. It's effort. The fact that we had to talk about the effort a couple of weeks ago, or last week, Reese Dixon Waters being like, we're not putting in the best effort. Several players talking about it. They admitted the team hasn't always played with the necessary intensity. Miles Bird said the team knows that a lack of focus has cost them games they should have won, but the team believes they're responding the right way. Recent practices have featured high energy, intensity, urgency, and the players believe they still have dogs on the roster capable of making a run. Frank, I look at this team and I go, from this particular standpoint, with everything that was been reported, we heard the reports about their practices not having intensity and not being, high level and not competing. You saw that action on the court, and you've seen this team when they play good defense, have really good nights, and when they don't play good defense, they get absolutely shelled throughout the basketball game. If San Diego State basketball and this team, the 2025-2026 Aztecs, don't want to be an embarrassment like 2018, they're going to have to play defense, they're going to have to out-rebound, and they're going to have to put that effort like their lives depend on it, because right now their season does depend on each game in the next 3 days.
Yeah, and it answers a lot of questions this season. You talk about not being fully engaged. You talk about not playing like you're not interested, really. And that's exactly what we've seen out of San Diego State so much this year. And for them to come out and say it, one, very big of them. Bravo. Congratulations. Way to take ownership of your own mistakes. But yes, that you really have to hunker down now. You're playing for something. You're playing for something big right now. You're playing for a chance to go to the national championship tournament. And I mean, that sort of lack of effort and lack of interest is not going to fly. And it is going to reflect very, very badly on this team if they do not at least make it to the tournament. And if that is the case, that quote and those statements are going to loom very, very large as the definition of what this season has been for San Diego State.
I think for the Aztecs, again, I mean, I don't see a situation in which, they're better than Colorado State. And the fact that they don't have to play them on the road, obviously, is a big factor. They're used to playing in Vegas. They've dominated Vegas. I think a lot of most of the fans in Vegas are usually Aztec fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've already seen reports like, oh, just get on the plane. Like, and it's all Aztec fans flying Southwest to Vegas right now. I believe that. I mean, they usually take over that arena. I got buddies that have already started checking into hotels for tonight. And they plan on staying there all weekend. So we'll see what the Aztecs have in store. I will say this. I was confident last night, and I almost said it. And we're going to work through this in the next segment. But the Aztecs, with the way the bubble is, they're getting a lot of favors because a lot of teams they're competing with are falling apart. And the teams in front of them right now are falling apart. What needs to happen for the Aztecs to make the game on Friday a play-in game? There's a lot right now. And I have the full deal of what you want to be rooting for if you're an Aztec fan to try to pay attention to the other teams that are on the bubble. First order of business, win the Mountain West tournament. But I think the Aztecs versus New Mexico is a playing game of the NCAA tournament. And I thought Bennett was brought up a good point. And it was like, if the committee knows that like the Mountain West is good enough to have two teams in the deal, if the Aztecs make it to the championship with Utah State, those are going to be the two teams. Because their resume with New Mexico is similar. That's why they got to beat them one more time. Where does it stand right now? Who do the Aztecs need to lose for that still sliver of hope? Because guess what? As much as we have said that they're out of it on the at-large, the bubble is not taking over, and nobody is playing to get their way into the tournament right now. I'll explain when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. The NBA might be the most wide open it's been in years right now. There's no dynasty, no unstoppable super team. And with 2 months left in the season, about 6 or 7 teams could realistically win the NBA title. San Antonio suddenly sitting at the top of the power rankings behind Victor Wembanyama, who's dominating both ends of the floor. The defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder are still right there, led by MVP candidate SGA. Detroit has shocked the league with Cade Cunningham playing like a superstar and pushing the Pistons toward the top of the East. Boston keeps winning even without Jason Tatum, while Jaylen Brown has stepped up as the main guy. New York Knicks, who everyone said couldn't defend, now have the best defense in the NBA over the last 7 weeks. Meanwhile, the Denver Nuggets and Minnesota Timberwolves are lurking in the West, and Charlotte has quietly won 15 of their last 18 games. So the question here, is the NBA wide open this season, or are we just waiting for one superstar to take over the playoffs? I look at this, Frank, and we're inside that final stretch of the NBA regular season. And right now, the biggest takeaway across the league is simple. There is no dominant team in the NBA.
No, there's no dominant team, but the playoff race is getting clearer. The latest power rankings are showing who is rising and who is slipping and who could be dangerous come April. Right now, the hottest team might actually be the San Antonio Spurs, sitting at the top of the power rankings and continuing to prove that they're not just a young team anymore and that they are very legitimate contenders. Of course, Victor Wembanyama helps.
Yeah, who continues to change the game on both ends of the floor and looks like the defensive player of the year lock while pushing toward MVP conversation. We've talked about that the last couple of weeks. It's been SGA versus Jokic, Denver versus Oklahoma City, back and forth. And then last week, it was like, oh, well, the Spurs are starting to make a little bit of a run, which means Wembanyama has now entered the conversation for MVP. Right behind them, though, of course, the Oklahoma City Thunder, as we said, who just keep winning even when they're missing pieces, and they're still getting MVP level play out of SGA, and they're built with depth and defense that travels in the playoffs. But the biggest surprise is in the East, Frank.
Yep, absolutely. The Detroit Pistons have been sitting at or near the top of the conference for most of the season, powered by Cade Cunningham, who is quietly putting together an MVP caliber season and proving that the Pistons rebuild might have arrived earlier than expected. Meanwhile, the Boston Celtics are still winning games despite not having Jason Tatum. He did have his season debut over the weekend. Jaylen Brown has stepped up to be the main star for Boston. They've won 12 of their last 14 games, and they are slowly climbing up the rankings, as well as the New York Knickerbockers. For years, people have said the Knicks could not defend, but now since mid-January, pretty much since the All-Star break, the Knicks have had the best defense in the NBA.
Yeah, they're led by Jalen Brunson, plus defensive pieces like OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson. New York has won 15 of their last 19 games and climbed back into the top 5. But the big question with the Knicks, and really most teams right now, is whether the regular season success will actually translate into the playoffs, because postseason basketball exposes weaknesses very quickly. And in Denver, the Nuggets are one of the most interesting teams in the league right now. Even with Nikola Jokic playing at an MVP level again, Denver has only one win in their last 7 weeks against a team above 500. They're still dangerous. They're still racking up wins. They're still taking care of business against teams that aren't very good, but they're not playing like the juggernaut we have seen before.
Yeah, and they're also, they're just playing the schedule ahead of them, and the schedule ahead of them right now just appears to be very weak. Another team, you mentioned the Denver Nuggets, another team that's lurking right now in the Western Conference is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've won 7 of their last 8, and Anthony Edwards is one of the hottest scorers in the NBA right now, shooting 40% from 3 while carrying Minnesota offensively. And do not overlook this surprise story in the East. The Charlotte Hornets are actually making a pretty decent push right now.
Yeah, Charlotte has won 15 of their last 18 games, and they're making that push to the playoffs or towards playoff positioning. It's funny with them and Detroit, and you had all the fighting and everything that was going on in the contest there. It's really sparked both teams at this point in time, at this point in the season. So maybe it's a little bit like a hockey fight, hitting the sticks on the side, all excited to get the momentum back on your side of things. But is the NBA wide open? Or are we just waiting for real contenders to separate? Because right now you can make the case for 6 or 7 teams to make a run at the NBA Finals and make a run at a championship. Spurs, Thunder in the West, as well as the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. And you got some good teams out there in the East as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't pay
12:24 on a Thursday. It's a beautiful Thursday. It's a hot Thursday. You going to be okay? You got to tan the casings a little bit today?
No, as long as I'm indoors in air conditioning, I will be fine.
You know what? If Frank got on like one of those foam rollers, rolled back and forth in the hot sun, it would be like a 7-Eleven hot dog machine.
He draws the foul.
That's
He draws the
awesome.
foul.
You like your hot dogs boiled, or do you like them rolled? I don't even know. How would you describe the cooking of a hot dog at a 7-Eleven?
Willed. Wished upon a star.
Have you ever had one of those things?
Yes, I have. I
have had many.
I have been desperate enough. Yes.
I have had many a gas station meals. The roller dog, the roller casings. I tell you what, though, you have a roller dog at like a 7-Eleven and it makes a snap noise when you take a bite. That ain't a casing.
No, that's the plastic that they left on.
That ain't the casing of the hot dog. Definitely not. Definitely not. That's you when you go out in the backyard, get a little tanning in.
Yeah, that's called an accident.
On the foam roller, get a little foam rolling in and tan the casings a little bit.
It's so bad.
It's funny though. You like it. That's good. I thought that was good. It's definitely worth the foul. See, the thing with the foul is it's still a foul, but it could be funny. Your foul could be funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to hear anybody say anything about a fresh 7-Eleven dog. I don't want to hear a fresh roller dog. Fresh and roller dog cannot be used in the same sentence. That's like fresh frozen. Have you ever seen? Could you imagine if you asked? Oh God, what's his name? What's the Ramsey? Gordon Ramsay. Could you imagine asking, like, telling Gordon Ramsay, are these hot dogs cooked fresh? Well, they're freshly rolled. Roller dog fresh.
First of all,
no.
Bold of you,
fresh frozen.
Bold of you to assume that Gordon Ramsay would ever have a hot dog.
You know what? Sometimes you got a dog. Sometimes you got to test. You know what? The 7-Eleven's going under kitchen nightmares. Just telling you. There's no such thing as a fresh hot dog.
No, there's not.
Do I need it? Is this like telling people about the mysteries of the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus to some people, that hot dogs are what they're made of? Do you want to know what they're made of?
No.
Does anybody want to know what they're made of?
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah. First of all, starts with an L and the other one starts with an A.
It's a hard pass on that.
Don't want to know what's made. Yeah. Just pretend it's something else, don't you?
Exactly right.
Fresh roller dog. They're fresh. Excuse me? Could you imagine you're going to like a farmer's market where things are fresh? Hey, there's fresh hot dogs. Fresh roller dog. Gross. Fresh roller equals gas station sushi. Augie's got it. Congratulations to Augie for getting that one right. All right. We need a contestant for our midday sports stand-up. If you could take me down in some sports trivia, you would be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and a $150 resort credit. March is here, and Fontainebleau, Las Vegas is the place to catch every game. High-energy watch parties with expansive screens. I want to say expensive every time.
Well, they are. I'm sure they are.
I don't think they are, Frank.
You wouldn't be wrong either way.
Except I would. That's the only thing that did not go up in price over the years was televisions. Great food and drinks, exclusive room rates, plus the pools and day club are open. Book your stay today at FontainebleauLasVegas.com. Now, that is a heck of a stay. We got all the games on right now in college basketball, which leads us to what needs to happen for the Aztecs to go dancing. All right. In terms of the Aztecs getting a tournament bid, you okay? That was kind of aggressive.
No, just the stupid Jeep commercial I just saw. But anyway.
You have a problem with the Jeep commercial?
Yep.
What's the problem with the Jeep commercial?
Taking the mounted singing fish
off
of its mount
to
try to catch a bear, and then the kid sitting there with the empty plaque where the fish was.
And then he gets eaten by the bear. Yeah. Come on, man.
Stupid.
Did you ever have one of those fish growing up? The singing fish on the wall. You can like mount. I remember the infomercials for that. The whatever. Remember those like the paid programming commercials?
Yeah, I think my grandparents did actually.
You push the button, the fish would like come to life, and then Billy Bass. All right, back to the Aztecs. Aztec fans, this is what you need to be looking for this week right now. The reality for the Aztecs is pretty simple. If they're not in the field, their resume ranking is around 54 nationally. Their at-large odds at around 17%. That means if Selection Sunday happened today, the Aztecs would be on the outside looking in. But there is a path, and it starts in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Here's scenario one, the most realistic path to see the Aztecs play probably on Tuesday of next week in the first four, or just in general in the NCAA tournament. Beat Colorado State, beat New Mexico. This is a scenario that could realistically put San Diego State on the right side of the bubble. They beat Colorado State in the quarterfinals. That simply keeps the season alive. But the real game is the next one. Beat New Mexico in the semis. That's going to matter a lot because the Aztecs and New Mexico are direct bubble competitors. Their resumes are almost identical. Both are outside the top 50 in resume metrics. San Diego State has a approximately 17% chance at large odds. New Mexico has approximately 14%. So if the Aztecs beat New Mexico tomorrow, you would eliminate a direct competitor for the same at large spot, which matters obviously to the committee, but you can't really do that until you win tonight. So tonight's obviously more important than tomorrow. You win tonight, you keep the season alive. You lose tonight, you're done anyway. So it doesn't really matter. The big one's going to be, of course, tomorrow against New Mexico, again, for at-large stuff. Now, scenario two is you got to root for the right Mountain West outcome. And right now, the conference projection look like this. Utah State, lock, everyone else still fighting for scraps. If the Aztecs beat New Mexico in the semifinal, the ideal title game opponent is actually Utah State because Utah State already locked for the NCAA tournament. If they win the tournament, no extra bid thief happens. But if someone like Colorado State or New Mexico wins the tournament unexpectedly, they could steal the automatic bid and then shrink the bubble, which hurts San Diego State. I mean, to me, if you're the Aztecs, the only way you get in this NCAA tournament is you win it yourself or Utah State wins the tournament. That's it. And if New Mexico wins the tournament, if you lose the game to New Mexico in the semifinals anyway, you're not going to the NCAA tournament. The other thing you kind of need to happen, no bid thieves among other conferences. Bubble teams like San Diego State get killed when unexpected conference champions take out automatic bids. Teams to watch for teams in the Atlantic 10, watch for teams right now the MAC, because UMass knocked off Miami, and whether or not Miami of Ohio has done enough to make the NCAA tournament remain to be seen. But that's a bid thief right there. That just made the bubble shrink a little bit. But I don't necessarily think Miami of Ohio is a guaranteed spot in the tournament yet. They might, but I doubt it. West Coast Conference is done, and nobody, you don't have to worry about that. Again, bid thieves most likely, Atlantic 10, MAC. Those are really it. I mean, there's not a lot of bid thieves out there right now that could affect San Diego State. But if VCU or South Florida don't win their conference tournament, it's a problem for the Aztecs. It is, because those are the teams that are, I think, the favorite to win their particular tournament as of right now. The other scenario is you got to root against bubble teams. So the Aztecs do need some chaos. They need teams like Auburn and Oklahoma and Seton Hall to lose. And if those teams lose early in conference tournaments, the bubble shrinks and San Diego State's resume comparison improves. The key number here is top 50. Historically, teams outside the top 50 resume metrics struggled to get at-large bids, and the Aztecs right now sit at 54. 2 wins in the Mountain West tournament could realistically move them into the mid-40s range, which suddenly makes the case much stronger. But the reality check to this is, even with 2 wins, the Aztecs are still sweating out Selection Sunday. But the path looks like this. Aztecs' best case path: beat Colorado State, beat New Mexico, avoid some bid thieves, which is already off to a good start for San Diego State. Utah State, if anybody needs to win the Mountain West tournament, that's not the Aztecs. It needs to be Utah State. And a couple bubble teams lose early, you're in a good spot. So today, bubble teams you got to look out for. Auburn's playing Tennessee. You need Tennessee to win that game. New Mexico losing to San Jose State would definitely help you out to an extent, but it also eliminates an opportunity for a good quad game for the Aztecs. So I'm kind of iffy on that one. You need Oklahoma to lose today. Stanford's already lost. They're out. Indiana's already lost. They're out. Cincinnati's lost. Virginia Tech, Cal, West Virginia, they have all lost. They're all out. Seton Hall is behind you right now in the the grand scheme of things, but you don't need them sneaking up and stealing a bid for the NCAA tournament. Teams that are in front of you still, NC State, UCF, and Missouri, all need to lose. Everybody else in front of you has already lost. Miami of Ohio's out. They can't play at any games. I don't know about VCU. Did VCU lose? They might have lost. Texas lost, they're out. SMU lost, they're out. So that's where you're at right now when it comes to the bubble. When we come back, we're going to play the Midday Sports Standoff, give you the national look if you want at the NCAA tournament. Big game tonight for the Aztecs. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Room Sports Station 97 to the Fan. Right now, the most chaotic division in the NHL isn't the East, it's the Pacific. Anaheim Ducks are currently sitting in first place, which nobody expected at the start of the season. But right behind them are the Vegas Golden Knights, the Edmonton Oilers, the Seattle Kraken, and the San Jose Sharks, all separated by just a few points with about 20 games left in the season. And here's the crazy part, though. The Ducks might actually have the easiest path to win the division. They only have 5 games left against playoff teams. And while Vegas and Edmonton still have brutal schedules filled with contenders like Colorado and Dallas, the question now becomes, can Anaheim hold on and win the Pacific, or do the Oilers and Golden Knights eventually take control when the pressure ramps up? Because in this division, someone's season is about to collapse and someone else might be about to shock the NHL. The stretch run is here. We're officially entering the final stretch of the NHL season with roughly 20 games left for most teams, and the playoff picture is getting wild, especially out west, as the Anaheim Ducks, Frank, currently sit first in the Pacific Division.
Yeah, they've old Ben Afquack over there has been having a time as the Ducks currently sitting first place in that Pacific Division, which might be the most surprising storyline in the NHL, as you said. Behind them is just absolute chaos in their wake. The Vegas Golden Knights, Edmonton Oilers, Seattle Kraken, and San Jose Sharks are all jammed within a handful of points, battling for playoff positioning. And Sunday night gave us a massive one. The Oilers and the Golden Knights, a true 4-point swing game in the standings in the Pacific.
The Pacific Division might decide the West. Fascinating part of this race is the schedule. Anaheim actually has the easiest road remaining, and they have 19 games left and only 5 against current playoff teams. Meanwhile, Vegas and Edmonton still have to grind through schedules filled with contenders like Colorado, Dallas, and Tampa Bay. So while the Ducks leading the division might feel like a surprise, the numbers say they might actually have the inside track. And if Anaheim holds on, that's one of the biggest turnaround stories in the NHL this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked on the show last week with Ryan Poling signing his contract. If the trade, the Trevor Zegras trade, is starting to pay off for Anaheim right now, and it's looking like it is, bless you, they are way ahead of schedule compared to what we were expecting.
Trade deadline fallout, the winners and the losers. The NHL trade deadline did have a strange rhythm this year. Lots of deals leading up to it, quiet on deadline day itself, and then chaos right before the buzzer. Some teams walked away much better. Some teams might not have gotten the value that they were hoping for going into the deadline.
Yeah, the Colorado Avalanche might have had the best deadline. They already had Nathan MacKinnon playing at an MVP level, and now they add center depth. Might be the best in the league now as they add Nazem Kadri and Nicholas Waugh. That lineup suddenly looks terrifying come playoff time. Meanwhile, the Ducks made one of the more stunning moves, acquiring longtime Capitals defenseman John Carlson, giving up their young roster a veteran Stanley Cup presence for this playoff push. Also, the New York Islanders trading away Jonathan Drouin, who they signed at the beginning of this season, to pick up the captain for the St. Louis Blues, Braden Shen. So that was another big move that was made over the course of the trade deadline.
But not every team nailed the trade deadline in the NHL. The Edmonton Oilers might have wasted a golden opportunity. They still have Connor McDavid, arguably the best player on the planet in his prime, and yet the biggest issue on the roster, goaltending, wasn't really solved. That's a risky gamble when your championship window is tied to McDavid's contract timeline.
And that was after a trade at the beginning of the season where both Pittsburgh and Edmonton swapped their goaltenders. So they tried to address it earlier this year with Tristan Jarry. Has not worked out, and I see why they stood still. You don't want to admit failure on two different goaltenders this year and make trades twice. But also, it's kind of an important thing, especially when you've lost in the Stanley Cup final the last 2 years.
Over in the East, Tampa Bay Lightning and Buffalo Sabres are battling for control of the Atlantic Division, while teams like Detroit and Boston are fighting for wild card spots. And keep an eye on the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are holding a playoff spot despite dealing with injuries, including missing star Evgeny Malkin.
Yeah, Evgeny Malkin actually got suspended for a high slash. So he's not out with injury. He is out based on rule of the NHL. So the East may not be as chaotic. The Metropolitan and the Atlantic may not be as chaotic as the Pacific, but the wild card races are still wide open in both the Eastern and Western conferences.
Broadcasting live at the Bill House Studios. We know how. It's part of our lunchtime hour on the Fan. Craft Taco, bold flavors, 2 locations, Serrano Valley and the Natural History Museum. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're going to talk a little bit more about San Diego FC in the next hour. We're going to break down the Padres roster in the next hour as well, with some new developments that we got, and kind of recap what's been going on in the NFL free agency. We've got a lot of sports going on here in this month of March. 2 weeks out from opening day. At this point, we're 2 weeks in what? 30 minutes? Almost
Just
30
about,
minutes?
yeah.
No? 1:10 start, right? Looking forward to it. Do we got official call? Tarek Skubal? Is that who it is? Maybe? Is that who it's going to be? The fact that he gave up on the... didn't give up, but it's like, all right, contract stuff. Not pitching for Team USA anymore. It's worried about the pods, man. Got to be worried about the pods. A lot of games for you. Okay, right now in college basketball, we talked about some of the games that you know, some teams you got to root against. You want to root against Seton Hall if you're an Aztecs fan, which I think goes against Frank. Do you have allegiances to Seton Hall?
My uncle who actually got me into radio, spent some time in radio as well. He's a Seton Hall alum.
Seton Hall alum. They're down 1 to Creighton.
He was actually calling the game when they went to. He was actually calling the college basketball games when they went to the national title against Michigan.
Oh wow!
For Seton Hall.
Seton Hall is down 1. UCF is a little bit in front of the Aztecs in terms of the bubble. They're getting their ass kicked. I mean, Arizona is a wagon. At the under 8 timeout, Arizona leads UCF 32-8. They're playing basketball, not football. At the under 8 timeout in the first half, it's 32-8 in favor of Arizona. Auburn, who the Aztecs need to lose, are up 17-11 on Tennessee. That game is being played at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. So hopefully the Orange and the Vols start getting it back into gear over there in Nashville. But those are some of the games that you need to pay attention to the most if you're an Aztec fan in terms of teams on the bubble that you need to lose. So Auburn's up 17-11. You need Auburn to lose. Seton Hall's down 1 to Creighton. So Creighton's on a 7-0 run. You need Seton Hall to lose. I don't think you really need UCF to lose. They're probably in the tournament as of right now, but it probably doesn't hurt if they get smoked by Arizona. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We need to get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Terry in Mission Valley playing today. Terry, how you doing today, bud?
Pretty good. All good here.
Terry.
All right. So
Good.
exactly right. So we're getting closer and closer. We're about 9 shows away from Padres opening day. Let's start guessing some Padre opening day lineups, shall we? This one comes courtesy April 2nd, 2001. Tony Gwynn's final year. The San Diego Padres opened up the season in San Francisco. What was the opening day lineup for that game?
That should be fun.
Terry, you have the first guess.
2001.
Yep.
Adrian Gonzalez.
In 2001? No, unfortunately not.
There was a Gonzalez, though. He was the starting catcher for the Padres. His name was Wiki Gonzalez. Wiki Gonzalez.
Yes. Terry?
Let's see. Damian Jackson.
Damian Jackson was leading off at second base. Wiki Gonzalez batting 7th behind the plate that day.
Right fielder, Ryan Klesko played that game. Was he in the outfield?
Ryan Klesko was in that game. He played first base, batting 3rd. Terry?
How about Phil Nevin was probably playing?
Phil Nevin was playing, batting right behind Ryan Klesko, playing 3rd base.
He played 3rd. Well, I'll go, of course, with Tony Gwynn.
I was wondering how much longer that one was going to take. Tony Gwynn batting 5th in right field.
All right, so who do we have?
We're missing your left fielder, center fielder, shortstop, and starting pitcher.
Gotcha.
Terry?
I'll say Ricky. Ricky had a big plan. Ricky Henderson.
I don't think Ricky.
No, Ricky was not there. That's strike number 2, Terry.
I will get the shortstop out of the way. He was from the 98 squad, Chris Gomez.
Yes, Chris Gomez. Terry, you need to get this one for multiple reasons.
About catching for Ben Davis.
It's a good guess, though.
No,
Ben Davis was on that
unfortunately
team.
not. Terry, that is 3 strikes. Braden, would you care to
I know the
continue
starting
on?
pitcher was Woody Williams.
Correct. Batting 9th. You're looking for your 2 outfielders, looking for center field and left field.
Mike Darr started in left.
Mike Darr started, but not in left. He was in center.
Started in center. I don't know who the left. Then I don't know who the left fielder was. I assumed Darr was in left.
He is a Padre for quite some time in the early 2000s. So it's
Finley?
not. No, it was not.
Not Finley. Hang on. It wasn't Klesko. Nevin. Who was the left fielder for the Padres? I don't.
Spent a good amount of time there in early 2000s. I believe he might have stayed all the way up until the playoff runs in the mid 2000s as well.
Oh, is he a manager right now?
He is a manager.
Mark Kotze.
Yes. Padres opening day lineup, April 2nd, 2001. Tony Gwynn's final year. Damian Jackson at second, Mark Kotze in left, Ryan Klesko at first, Phil Nevin at third, Tony Gwynn in right, Mike Darr in center, Wiki Gonzalez behind the plate, Chris Gomez at short and Woody Williams on the mound.
How about that?
We'll be getting you in the opening day realm here.
I'm not going to look up that roster. 2001 Padres roster.
So again, just
I was 6.
The next week and a half is going to be all opening day lineups. I'm not going to do anything stupid like who was the 74 with no reason behind it.
Top 12 players on that team. Phil Nevin had a 5.8 WAR. Then Ryan Klesko. Then Mark Kotze. Bubba Trammell.
Nice.
He played in right for most of the year. Then it was Brian Tolberg. I couldn't tell you who that is. Kevin Jarvis, Brian Lawrence. Remember Brian Lawrence? Mike Darr, Ben Davis ended up starting the most at catcher that year, so he was on. Terry was on the right track. Jose Nunez had a 1.1 WAR. Trevor Hoffman 1.1 WAR, and Wiki Gonzalez with a 1 WAR that season. The Padres in 2001 went 79-83 under Bruce Bochy. That team had, let's see, do they have the starting pitchers that year were Bobby Jones, Kevin Jarvis, Woody Williams, Brian Tolberg, Adam Eaton, Brian Lawrence. Bullpen, Trevor Hoffman, Jose Nunez, David Lee, Rodney Myers, Tom Davey. That is a blast for the past for a lot of people probably driving around.
Yep. So pay attention to milestone years in Padre history for the next week and a half.
2001 is a milestone year because it was Tony Gwynn's last year. Is that what you're saying?
That was Tony Gwynn's final year.
How many games did he play in that year? Let's see. Tony played in 71 games that year. Still hit 324.
Yes, you do.
In 71 games in 2001, as a 41-year-old, Tony Gwynn had 102 at-bats, was 33 for 102, 5 runs scored, 9 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run, 17 RBIs, stole 1 base, walked 10 times. You know how many times he struck out? At age 41 in Major League Baseball?
7.
9. It's pretty close.
You know how many guys have 9 strikeouts by game 3 of the season?
How many guys have 9 strikeouts? Yeah. How many guys have 9 strikeouts by game 2 of the season? Getting up that many times and punching out? 9 strikeouts in the entire season.
Jeez.
Unbelievable. 2001. Last year for Tony Gwynn. He played in less games in 2000, played in only 36, hit 323. Let's go back to just Tony. I mean, his numbers are ridiculous every single year. He only hit below 300 once. That was in 1982 when he was a rookie, when he played in 54 games. You know what he hit? 284. Sorry, 289. He never had an OPS plus under 100. In any season, which means he was never a below average player. How about that? From age 22 to 41, Tony Gwynn was never a below average player. I mean, people are probably like, yeah, of course. I mean, he's Tony Gwynn. I understand that part.
Duh.
But at the same time, it's like when you look back at some of those stats that we look at now a little bit more closely, it's really insane to compare that to what we see now in Major League Baseball and just be like, oh my God. And then you start looking at contracts and you're like, I'm sorry, we got guys getting paid how much money to be below average at their job? Crazy. Tony Gwynn was a 15-time All-Star. Lowest batting average, like I said, was 289. OPS numbers are all above 100 every time. He never had a negative WAR. The lowest WAR he had was in 2000. He had a 0.4 B WAR, and that was because he played in 36 games. Struck out only 4 times that year. 36 games, 140 plate appearances. The most times he ever struck out was 1988. He struck out 40 times. I mean, you could do like hours on Tony Gwynn's stats where you're just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this? When we come back, recap what happened last night. San Diego FC, big win over Toluca, but can they keep it going in the second leg? Frank and I will discuss when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 1 o'clock on a Thursday. It's been a fun Thursday. I can't believe it's already 1 o'clock. I have said that every day this week. Have I not? Had some fun shows. I've enjoyed the shows this week.
Yeah, it's been very good.
Talking college basketball, San Diego FC. Got everybody fired. You didn't think I was going with that to start the show, did you?
No, I mean, I knew it was definitely big what happened last night, but I didn't expect to do most of the first hour on it. I thought we were going to focus more on the World Baseball Classic. But.
You know, the Italians were just they did so. I think they dominated so much. It's hard to talk about so early. They're killing me, man. They're doing the kiss on both cheeks after home runs. They're doing the espresso shots. They're doing the. It makes me want to go back to Italy. Doing a good job with tourism.
I sent you a reel last night of like the Team Italy celebrations and like going overboard with it. I would love if instead of chalk in the batter's box, in the on-deck circle, they started using Parmesan.
I have said
that would be so funny.
Parmigiano Reggiano?
So good.
Parmesan Reggiano.
No, you get the craft Parmesan, so this way you're not wasting the good stuff, right?
No, we have plenty of it. Not only the best for the Italian hitters. Do not put sawdust on their hands. Are you kidding me?
I'm saying
only the best.
I'm saying
it's a little extra protein
I'm
too.
saying if you're gonna waste something, if you're gonna use something and then have it all go on the ground, send the bad stuff. So this way we eat the good stuff.
Putting the Parmesan Reggiano on the bats or on the on deck is not wasteful.
Okay.
That is using to the benefit of Vinny Bag of Donuts hitting the ball over the fence.
Then I'm all for it then. I was thinking don't waste the good stuff. Use that for later. Use that to eat it.
Kraft cheese is an insult to the old country.
I agree.
Yes,
that's why I said if anything is going to hit the ground in a mass quantity, have it be the garbage stuff instead of the good stuff.
Hey, you know what? That's the best. You want to know what the best protein bar is? A chunk of Parmesan Reggiano.
Yes, it is.
That's the best type of like natural protein. The stuff at Costco is it's just raw cheese, raw milk. Simple. There's like 2 ingredients in it. It's all natural, and it's a great source of protein. Parmesan Reggiano. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, biggest fan time. No, we're not giving out Parmesan.
Why am I even here then?
I don't know. Is this a new person?
Oh, did I not? I thought I did. I could have swore I did.
Is that? I thought we had her yesterday.
Then yeah, that probably is the case.
No Parmesan for you.
Yeah, no Parmesan for me. Today's biggest fan is Joshua Barajas in Vista. Joshua Barajas in Vista. You are today's biggest fan.
Josh Barajas, you got 10 minutes. Give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97.3, thefansd.com/biggest fan. Barajas. Josh Barajas? Is that what
Joshua Barajas.
Joshua Barajas.
I'm trying to check, and the only reason why I'm asking, I've sent the inquiry to Adam already. This has not been updated, so I'm not sure. Tomorrow might be the last call on the biggest fan.
Is that for all shows?
Yes.
Interesting.
It has not been updated since then, so tomorrow's the last day on the sheet that's available. We have to fill in who wins, but I'm not seeing anything beyond tomorrow.
Charleston goes, I don't know him, and I know everybody in North County. Skip. Jocelyn strikes me as the one that's like at the waiting in line for your name to be called at a restaurant. You put your name in, and it's like, can we get James Party of 4? James Party of 4? Not here. Next. At some point, you do have to do that. I have to say, I think that opens the gates to you can probably do that eventually if you've been waiting long enough. I think it's justified.
Well, that's why you have to take a look at the list as they're writing your name on the list to see who's in front of you. And she
I'm definitely that person. Yep. Frank, party at 2.
Not
Frank,
here.
party at 2. Not here. Moving on, man. Let's go.
Exactly.
Moving on. Got to be present to win your table.
Too bad. They suck. Moving on.
I better hear that when we do the giveaways again at another live. I tell you what, those like the giveaways at the live that we got it. Sometimes I feel like you got to clean out the hopper. The hopper gets so many people, and then like
it gets overstuffed, and it
people
doesn't
just like cruise in and out, and
it
sitting there
doesn't
just
turn
reading names.
and-
You're just like, are any of these people here? Any of these people here? All right.
That's another thing you can do at those. Like, oh yeah, I'm a part of that party. Hold on.
Now,
let's go
I think
through.
that's fair to say. I think it's fair to say, move on, go to the next guy. Taking that party's spot, that might be a foul. That might be a foul. I think after a certain time, maybe, but if they go Frank party at 2 and you're not Frank party at 2 and it's a couple of times through, you're probably better off saying they're not here than like, yep, that's us.
Yeah, I'm with him. Hold on, I'll go get him.
Knowing like my luck, well, by also probably Frank's luck. If Frank were to pull that off and go like, hey, Jocelyn party of 2, and after a couple, Frank just goes like, yeah, screw it. It's going to be me. I'm Jocelyn party of 2. Sorry, I didn't hear you there. That person would then show up, and then there'd be this awkward encounter. Or they would be like, yes. Show up and to the table.
It is. It's a curb episode.
We just sat Jocelyn. What are you talking about? We just sat Jocelyn. We're Jocelyn. We're Jocelyn party of 2. And then they bring him over to the table. Which one of you's Jocelyn? Then it's like a huge ordeal. Was that actually a curb episode? I
It's
believe
gotta
it.
be.
I
Yeah,
believe
exactly.
It. I believe it.
That's-
I believe it. I think that'd be pretty funny. I could see that being a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. I could also see it being like a Seinfeld deal, which also is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
Except for George Costanza is Larry David, which is hilarious. All right. Let's recap and talk about the soccer game from last night. You were there. Sure. How many have you gone to this year?
The only one I only missed the second match of the year against St. Louis City because of the stupid pink eye thing I had.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's the only reason why I
After
missed
sniffing the tailpipes of vehicles, you got the weird red eye.
Yeah,
motor eye. Maybe that's what it was. All right, so another time. What was the before we dive into this? And the fact that they won with 9 and scored all their goals with 10. What was your overall take of last night's game? Atmosphere, everything like that. How, for somebody that got to witness that in person, what was the vibe from the supporters? What was what did you notice that us watching on TV probably did not see?
Atmosphere was kind of dead.
It didn't look like too many people on TV in attendance.
I think I overheard because I was fortunate enough to sit next to Tom Krasovich in the press box last night. I think I heard the girls say it was like 20,700 roughly, and that's rounding up slightly. Last night it wasn't 8:30 start on a Wednesday. I mean that's a rough ask for people, but it was a little bit dead, and I think the way San Diego came out just looking completely outmatched and outclassed, I think kind of knocked everything back a little bit. And then the penalty, it's tough. It's a tough opponent. It felt like the air was kind of sucked out of the building already from the very beginning. Then the goal from Vargas before the half, the officials getting everyone riled up. It didn't really kick back in and feel like a normal San Diego FC game until Vasquez scored to open up the second half, and then Dreyer right after it. that's when things really started to get crazy again and start to feel normal. But yeah, I mean, it was very odd to see San Diego FC getting outclassed the way they were. And you can also tell from that game that I didn't really see against Pumas, that you could tell there's a difference in physicality between Liga MX and MLS. A lot more bumping, a lot more moving around, a lot more sliding tackles, a lot more shoving, a lot more physicality from the Toluca side that it looked like San Diego FC almost wasn't really ready for last night.
And then it was better with 10 guys.
Yeah.
It was better with 10 guys. I mean, like, I've never seen, and I haven't watched nearly as much soccer as you have, but like when you go down an entire man down, it doesn't really end well for most
teams. As opposed to going a half a man down.
Yeah. A full man down and then 2 full men down. It never works out usually for soccer teams. And they actually scored all 3 goals with 10 players instead of 11.
Yes. The only game that I can kind of halfway remember where being a man down and actually going 2 men down almost seemed beneficial was a game between Inter and Milan in 2010. Inter won it 4-2. They were down to 9. They played most of the second half down by 9. But I was surprised once they went down 10 men. I was surprised to see that they actually went more on the attack after that, and they just let Pellegrino and Dreyer run free down the attacking end, and Vasquez was really the go-between from that midfield level up to the strikers, up to the forwards. And Vasquez, he was getting bullied all game long, and you could see the closer it got to halftime, the more and more you could start to see him becoming visibly frustrated, not just with the players that were fouling him, but with the official. Like, really, come on, this is getting out of hand now. I need a little bit of protection here. But yeah, I mean, it was an incredible game to watch how they just completely shifted mentality once they went down to 10 men, and it made them more aggressive, and it really put Toluca on the back foot.
Everything changed, right? With the red card. I mean, the game turned chaotic almost immediately. I mean, they had to do that. It wasn't like they got the red card in the second half. They had to play with 10 guys in the second half. They got the red card like the first 15 minutes of the game. It was in the 16th minute where Marcus Varksen received a red card after appearing to kick a Toluca player in the face. Toluca capitalized shortly after with the penalty. Jesus Gallardo scored on the free kick to give Toluca a 1-0 lead while playing up a man. And at the moment, the match appeared to be heading towards a comfortable Toluca victory. That's how I thought it was too. But instead of collapsing, San Diego FC responded with the most impressive stretch of the season. And David Vasquez stole the show last night.
Yes,
I mean, he has to be the hero of the night last night. SoCal native, scored 2 goals. He had the equalizer in the 36th minute. He had the go-ahead goal just before halftime. And the performance had extra meaning for Vasquez because
after halftime.
Yeah, just after halftime. The performance that he had extra meaning because he grew up a fan of Liga MX's club Chivas, making a big performance against the Mexican powerhouse, especially meaningful. He delivered the biggest moment of his young San Diego career. Welcome to the party, David Vasquez. I mean, he really came onto the scene last night, part of this group of young players for San Diego FC.
Yeah, really, really a very good night for young Vasquez, and it did such a great job with what he was given. I mean, he was given a lot of grief, a lot of guff from the Toluca players last night, and he was just he overcame all of it for an incredible match. And there were a couple guys that weren't available, like Annabelle Godoy was not available last night. San Diego FC made a lot of subs at the back end of that game. It was just an all-around gritty performance, and for them, it was a big statement win for them.
Dreyer's Golazo provides the winner, and after halftime, San Diego turned to its biggest star. Andres Dreyer scored a spectacular goal in the 53rd minute that gave San Diego a 3-1 lead. Dreyer was already one of the faces of the franchise after winning the MLS Newcomer of the Year, being MLS best 11. His goal ultimately proved to be the difference, but Dreyer continues to show why he's one of the most dangerous attacking players in Major League Soccer.
I sent it to you, and then I sent it on Twitter. He is not human, and if he gets but Lionel Messi again this year out of MLS MVP, I'm going to lose my mind. He is unbelievable right now, and I agree with Easy Money. He is probably the best all-around player in the MLS right now. Yes, Lionel Messi is still a fantastic player, still very, very good. But what Andres Dreyer does for San Diego FC, he's there every single time they need him, whether it's scoring or whether it's setting up a scoring opportunity. He is unbelievable, and he is there every time they need him.
And then San Diego FC finishes with 9 players. Late in the match, drama intensified again. Mano Dua, who had a great job defensively throughout the entire night, got his second yellow card in the 85th minute on the handball in the penalty area. Toluca then pulled within a goal because they were able to make the penalty shot. But the momentum continues for San Diego FC. It is a victory that is part of an impressive run across all competitions in 2026. San Diego FC, 5 wins, 1 loss, 15 goals scored, 4 goals allowed. They previously eliminated Pumas Unum in the first round of the Champions Cup. This continues the momentum from the remarkable 2025 season under Mike Ivaras, where they won 19 games. They earned 63 points, reached the MLS Western Conference Finals we talked about. But this team continues to prove why last year was not a fluke. And we'll talk more about San Diego FC tomorrow with Drake Hills to finish up the week. But overall, what a great win for San Diego FC. It's going to get more difficult down in Toluca, though. And it's not a guarantee that they're going to advance because of the high altitude, tough environment, all of that. So we'll see what happens next week. When we come back, it's a battle for the bench. Battle for the bench. A couple of players forcing the issue. Who are those players? Who makes this team? Frank and I discuss next on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.2 The Fan. The San Diego State Aztecs are heading to Las Vegas as the #2 seed in the Mountain West tournament. And honestly, they might be the most unpredictable team in the bracket. They just beat UNLV 89-86 behind a monster 30-point game from BJ Davis. The first 30-point performance by an Aztec since the 2024 NCAA tournament. And when this team's offense is rolling, they look dangerous. But earlier in the week, they lost to Boise State and got absolutely dominated on the glass, losing the rebounding battle 37-15. And that's the problem. San Diego State teams are supposed to win with defense and rebounding. If the Aztecs get back to that identity, they can absolutely win the Mountain West tournament. But if they get pushed around like they did inside against Boise State, this could be a short trip to Vegas. So the big question is simple. Which version of San Diego State shows up in March? Men's basketball, Frank, regular season is now over for the Aztecs, and they're heading to Las Vegas as the #2 seed, the Mountain West basketball tournament. They'll play Thursday at 6 against the winner of Colorado State, the 7 seed, and the #10 seeded Fresno State men's basketball team. They close the season and the regular season with a gritty performance, but they need to be a lot better defensively and on the boards if they want to advance to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And just going through that game against UNLV over the weekend, BJ Davis exploding for 30 points. The first Aztec with 30 since Jaden Ledee back in the 2024 NCAA tournament. Reese Dixon Waters, 19 points, continued to be the most consistent scorer on the team. San Diego State shooting 55% from the field. And when they shoot that well at home, they basically never lose. However, they did have a rough outing against Boise State earlier in the week.
This is a team that showed two sides, and it's a two-sided team here. They Earlier in the week, they lost to Boise State 86-77, and the issues were clear. Out-rebounded 37-15, which is utterly atrocious for this Aztecs team. They gave up 86 points. The defense identity slipped. That's not typical for a program coached by Brian Dutcher, whose teams are built on defense and rebounding first. Still, they win over UNLV, and it gives them momentum entering the conference tournament. And historically, that matters. As the number 2 seed, the Aztecs are 5-1 all-time in the Mountain West tournament. And the last 2 times they were the 2 seed, they reached the championship game. They need to do more than that, though. They need to win it if they want to be playing in the NCAA tournament. The path is all right. They got Colorado State and Fresno State winner, which they're better than both of those schools. They have an opportunity to get revenge on New Mexico after what was a bad call that didn't go their way down at the pit. And then after that, they have to take on probably Utah State again. But the good thing is they haven't been swept by anybody in the Mountain West. They know how to beat these schools, and it's at a neutral floor. And so for that, the Aztecs still have a chance. But unfortunately, Frank, the women's basketball team, dominant season ended in a stunning upset yesterday.
Yeah, no, things did not go well as a story for San Diego State's women's basketball this season was dominance. They finished the regular season at 25-4, 19-1 in the Mountain West. Mountain West regular season champions. Coach Stacy Terry Hudson won Mountain West Coach of the Year, and the Aztecs stacked up many, many awards. Nala Williams winning the Mountain West Player of the Year. Kaylin Hamilton, the 6th Player of the Year. Naomi Panganaban going all Mountain West. They shot the ball extremely well, defended at elite levels, and won 21 of their 22 final regular season games. But unfortunately, Air Force, number 9 seeded Air Force, proved to be just a little too much for them.
Yeah, they beat San Diego State 83-76 in the quarterfinals. It was the conference first number 1 seed quarterfinal loss since 2015. Panganaban scored 29 points, but Air Force dominated the glass in the second half, hit 27 free throws, flipped the game late. Now San Diego State waits to see if the net ranking around 67 is strong enough to get into a postseason invite. But based on the latest bracketology, I don't think it's going to be the case. Which sets up for these one-and-done conferences. Tournaments like that end up costing them a lot of money because San Diego State women's basketball probably has the best chance of potentially advancing an NCAA tournament, and now they have no shot. And it negates everything that they accomplished in the regular season, which to me is more important than winning a couple of games in a weekend in Las Vegas. So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to these conference tournaments. Let's talk about baseball. Competitive, but still inconsistent. The Aztecs sit at 9-6 this year on the season in baseball after a 12-9 loss to St. Mary's. Offense showed life. Zach Justice had 4 RBIs. Multiple players contributed hits. The Aztecs scored 9 runs, but unfortunately, what has been a massive strength for the Aztecs this year in pitching didn't hold up against St. Mary's a lot this weekend.
No, unfortunately not. As Zach Justice, 4 RBIs, multiple players contributing in hits.
Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. How we doing? Nobody wants the barbecue shirt.
Yeah, it's the meme isn't hitting quite well.
59% in the Braden Surprenant Show YouTube page says no.
Yeah, 65-35 here.
We'll make it an exclusive one. Just give it to Rod. Rod showing up to one of Sam's pre or post games with the picture of his barbecue plate on there would be all time.
No, like I said, we gotta do that on a Wednesday show where we're broadcasting from the loft, because there's going to be plenty of those this year, and then have him sign it. Have him sign it. We'll hang it up. We'll get like a nice jersey. We'll get like a nice jersey frame. We'll hang it up in here in the studio, and off we go.
I guess I thought this was fake. I saw this before. The Taco Bell. Did you see the Taco Bell, like Liv Moss?
I did.
Menu.
They have.
I sent that, and one of my buddies was like, "It's too there's too many sweet ones. There's no way that's real." And I'm seeing a video where they're trying it. It's real, dude. Like we might have to talk about tomorrow on the during the noon lunchtime hour.
Well, Taco Bell every year has like an event where they
try it out.
No, where they have like all these new menu items.
And it's just like
that they post.
Right.
And they have like influencers come in and check it out and check them out and eat them. And like, yeah, the Live Moss Live innovations coming soon. They have a birthday cake empanada coming out.
What about the edible sauce packet? That's hilarious.
Oh, God. Creme brulee crunch wrap slider.
Let's save that for tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's table
Fair
that for
enough.
tomorrow. Let's get into this because it's it's not the lunch hour.
No, it is not.
Lunch hour is noon.
But when do we talk about it though? Because I don't think we could talk about Taco Bell in the craft taco lunchtime hour.
I think you can at the end. We could talk about how much better the craft taco is than Taco Bell.
That's true.
Why would you eat all this when you can have great tacos? Oh my God.
Why would you want Cool Ranch chicken nuggets?
They got Cool Ranch chicken nuggets?
Oh, you're gonna have to find out tomorrow now, aren't you?
Speaking of food, I'm monitoring social media on here, see if anything breaks, right? For some reason, the computer is probably listening to me too. But on X, the next video that popped up it's from an account called Videos AI Could Never Recreate.
Oh, no.
And it is somebody at a Texas Rangers game.
Okay.
And they're in the outfield. It's New Globe Life, whatever. And they got a boomstick. You know what a boomstick is, right?
Yeah, the inflatable.
No.
Oh.
The boomstick at Rangers games. That is a food item.
Oh, no, I don't know what that is.
It's the 24-inch long hot dog.
Oh, God.
And so some wannabe influencer is like showing it off and having it spin around as she films in the outfield. And the handle.
Phrasing?
The handle. Get your mind right, bro. The handle of the container that holds the hot dog is cardboard. So it's not that sturdy. It is the chili cheese version of it, too, by the way.
Oh, God, that makes the cardboard worse.
She's spinning it, and then the handle gives out hot dog on top of somebody she does not know. Just all over him. It's like the scene from Angels in the Outfield with the nachos. Nacho butt. With like, I want a soda. I want this. Guy sits in the nachos. Nacho butt. It's all over his suit. That's what this guy looks like. Anyway, let's talk about for a couple of minutes now. I do want to get into, we talked about it with Sam, but I want to recap what we discussed with Sam in terms of the Padres bench battle heating up. And a lot of talk now about Jace Bowen and the start that Jace Bowen has had to spring training. And I want to say start. I mean, we are now halfway through the spring training. We're in the dog days of spring training, if you will. Jace Bowen's had a really good spring, and he has really forced the issue. And he could potentially add a power bat to the bench competition. I mean, he had a 433-foot grand slam in spring. He's got that elite athleticism. He's got speed, defensive ability, occasional power. The challenge is still developing as a complete baseball player. But as, Sam Levitt mentioned on our show, I mean, this is a guy that was recruited to play football at Michigan State. I mean, this guy is an athlete, and he's really forcing the question of who is making this team. You have the Bryce Johnson effect. He's still the favorite because of what he has done in actual baseball games. 2025, he hit 342. He had a 383 on base. He had a 434 slug. He's got elite speed, defensive range, bunting ability, hits from both sides of the plate, and has been a proven MLB contributor where some of these other guys have not. You throw in the fact that Sun Moon Song injury could change the roster math a little bit. Oblique strain aggravated, has not swung a bat since Sunday, and possible outcomes could be opening day roster, could be the injured list, could be the minor leagues. You don't really know. And that still needs to be play out over the next 2 weeks. But the Sun Moon Song conversation can open up another bench spot. And now you have this extra infield competition. If Song misses time, now you have the Ty France situation with him being a veteran hitter, a corner infielder. You got Jose Miranda, who has proven to be an MLB bat. Both of those guys have continued to do almost the exact same thing, and they are kind of the exact same player in terms of what intangibles they bring to this roster. And then, of course, you got Mason McCoy, who is the defensive versatility player for the Padres, who is on the 40-man roster, has that speed, but might lack in the hitting conversation, in which Craig Stammen has said multiple times, if you hit, we find a place for you. But even then is a little tongue-in-cheek. So with all of this coming around, the reality of the bench role for the Padres is you're going to have a backup catcher on the roster. It's going to be Luis Camposano, most likely. You're going to have the backup first base / DH spot. You're going to have a utility infielder and probably the fourth outfielder. Bench spots rarely last the whole season. I mean, you could look at the situation from last year. Only one bench player lasted the entire season in 2025, a season ago for the Padres, and the same pattern in 2024 and 2023. This is a very interesting conversation. The competition that they wanted is starting to build even more. And right now, how I see it, Frank, Luis Camposano, I think you got the backup first base / DH spot. Let's just put Miguel Andujar there right now with Gavin Sheets playing first base and Nick Castellanos DHing. That is another spot on the bench that's going to get taken up. Utility infielder, which I would imagine would be Sungmoon Song, but if he's hurt, is it Jose Miranda? Is it Ty France? And then the fourth outfielder, which I don't think is going to be Jace Bowen. I think he brings a different level to this team potentially, but I still think it's Bryce Johnson. Unless something crazy happens, but we'll see how this plays out. As of right now, I'm looking at Luis Camposano, Gavin Sheets, or Luis Camposano, Miguel Andujar, Bryce Johnson, and if Ty France and Jose Miranda, I think they're neck and neck for if Sungmoon Song starts on the injured list.
I think they are as well. I would say there's going to have to be something in the analytics, whether it be barrel percentage, whether it be just average exit velocity, something like that, that might give one of the two over the edge. It's going to be something that we're not readily seeing that gives one the edge over the other. It's certainly a close battle. I would think Ty France will probably win out that battle. But it's been very, very close, very, very competitive, very, very fun to watch as well. And as far as Jace Bowen goes, wouldn't be surprised to see him at all up in the major leagues at some point, possibly this year.
I think so too, because I think, with the bench and with the ever-changing pieces of the bench throughout the year, you're going to need some more depth. It's guys like Alex Verdugo, if he can do things well in AAA El Paso. It's guys like Jace Bowen. These are some of the guys going to fill out the roster. The big question, though, is with that conversation that we've had, three of the guys that we just mentioned, Bryce Johnson, Jose Miranda, Ty France, none of those guys are going to make it in the minor leagues. Those guys are all going to be on a big league roster, whether it's here in San Diego or somewhere else. Those are not going to be guys that you could stockpile in the minor leagues, which makes it a very interesting and difficult decision for the San Diego Padres. When we come back, the NFL free agency has been in full force. We'll keep you updated on everything you need to know. Who are the winners? Who are the losers to help finish up the show? Gwen and Chris coming up after that. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. If you want the one storyline that defines college basketball right now heading into March Madness, it's the freshman. Best player in the country might be a freshman. That's Cameron Boozer at Duke. He's averaging over 22 points and 10 rebounds a game and could be the #1 pick in the NBA draft, but it's not just him. AJ DeBansta at BYU is a superstar. Darius Acuff Jr. at Arkansas is one of the best point guards in the country. And Illinois freshman Keaton Wagler is playing like an All-American. 6 of the 15 players on the Wooden Award ballot are freshmen, which almost never happens. So when you're filling out your March Madness bracket this year, don't just look at the school name, look at the freshmen, because in 2026, the teenagers are running college basketball, and they might decide who cuts down the nets in April. We're officially entering the most chaotic time of the college basketball season. Selection Sunday is approaching. Brackets are about to flood your email inbox, and for a lot of fans, this is the moment where they start asking, wait, who's actually good this year? The reality is, in the 2026 season, it has given us a pretty clear storyline so far a dominant top tier, an incredible freshman class, and a handful of surprise teams crashing the party.
Yeah, right now there's a clear elite class in college basketball. Leading that group are a blue blood, the Duke Blue Devils, the number one team in the country. They're led by freshman superstar Cameron Boozer, the favorite for National Player of the Year, and one of the best freshmen the sport has seen in years. Duke already owns huge wins over Florida and Michigan, two other projected number one seeds. Michigan has been dominant as well this year. Their only losses this season came to Duke and a hot shooting Wisconsin Badgers team. Then there's the Arizona Wildcats, one of the most balanced teams in the country, ranking top 8 nationally in both offense and defense. But don't sleep on the Florida Gators. The defending champs are red hot with a 10-game winning streak behind them and look like a legitimate repeat contender.
Well, let's go back to the freshmen. They're running college basketball right now. This might be the best freshman class we have seen maybe ever. And it starts with Bouger at Duke. There's a ton of elite young talent. We talked about it. AJ DeBansta at BYU, Darius Atkiff Jr. at Arkansas, Keaton Wagler at Illinois. 6 of the 15 players in the Wooden Award ballot this season are freshmen, which is basically unheard of. The sport right now is being driven by teenagers who could be NBA lottery picks in a few months. But the surprise teams that are showing up and crashing the party, there's always a couple. Every year, March Madness has surprise contenders, and this year there are plenty. Look at Nebraska, who opened the year 20-0 after being picked near the bottom of the Big Ten. Vanderbilt started 16-0 despite preseason predictions that they finished near the bottom of the SEC. And the wildest story might be the University of Miami of Ohio, Frank. Miami of Ohio.
Yes, the University of Miami of Ohio Redhawks, the only undefeated team in the country. But here's the crazy part. They still might miss the NCAA tournament if they do not win the MAC tournament because their strength of schedule was just so weak.
It's an interesting conversation, though, with if you go undefeated despite your schedule, you should be in the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
At the same time, they didn't play that good of a schedule, but now you got their athletic director sending out all of these tweets and stuff about how nobody wanted to play them. You have investigative journalists that are asking for public access requests to see some of the emails about schools turning them down. It's very interesting, and it's a weird thing in college athletics right now where, and not really right now, it's probably been the case, where top teams in college athletics refuse to play good mid-major programs because the risk reward doesn't make sense for them. And it affects teams like Miami, affects teams like San Diego State here in town. I mean, these are deciding factors for a lot of programs that build their schedule. It's very poor. And you look at the Power Four, and most of their schedules are trash.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly we see the same thing in football. They don't play anyone out of conference. That's why you saw Alabama play the Citadel every year, especially late in season too. So, I mean, unfortunately, it's a part of college athletics, but every now and again, you have a breakout story here like the Redhawks that come out and really defy the odds and go undefeated, an incredible run. And for them to miss the NCAA tournament because of a weak schedule and they didn't win the MAC tournament, that's just really hampering the amazing accomplishment that they had this season.
Now, there are a lot of injuries that could change the March Madness bracket. And that's a big storyline heading into March, are the injuries. Several contenders are dealing with major losses, including JT Toppin at Texas. Speaking of videos that we saw that I needed to see, headphones all jacked up. Oh, it's killing me with the, there it is. The problem with these headphones is like they have the little squirrely Dan cord over here that gets stuck. Seriously, it's ridiculous. I couldn't get the headset like back. It kept getting stuck. I have to like flip it back.
God, you love it. Swirly Dan is actually a pretty funny comedian as well.
He's great on the show.
Yeah, he's a great stand-up guy too.
Really?
Yeah.
Nappy headphones. Rod, by the way, speaking of naps, brother, did you take a nap today with like the food consumption? Have a day. It's a hot day outside. I got Rod during the lunchtime hour. He sends me pictures. And my apologies, Rod. I just saw him. But he's got the he went and got the tacos today. And then he hit up an 18 from Mona Lisa's. Took a picture of that with a tall boy. How about this? Tall boy cherry Coke. That's the play. That's a good play right there.
Not bad at all.
Number
sir.
18 at Mona Lisa's with a tall boy cherry Coke. Rod, have yourself a day. Have yourself a day. After having the tacos pre-sub, sends a picture of him hanging outside the taco spot. Guys repping the Aztecs today for the big game tonight. Expand, brother. Expand. You're going to get Sam all fired up out there in Vegas, watching us from Vegas right now from his penthouse he's got.
Not to brag. Jeez.
Hey, you know what? The guy's locked in for Aztecs basketball. You're not locked in? Where's your penthouse? Let's go, brother. Let's go. We got to get going. We got Aztec Colorado State tonight.
Brother, I can't get a pen right now, let alone a penthouse.
You got Sam's number. Text him. If you don't, I'll send it to you. He's got an open spot. Slap the floor. That's right, Nate. Got a guard. Slap the floor. Get into a stance. Slap the floor. Get into a stance. Aztecs basketball tonight. Back to what I was talking about before. The video I didn't know existed, didn't know I needed part of my life. Sabrina Carpenter espresso edit of Team Italy home run Selly boys. You kidding me? Are you kidding me, Frank? That is the video I did not know I needed to see.
Speaking of which, I just got, I don't know if my uncle's listening or if someone has informed him that we were watching the game, but I just got the pirate flag from my uncle. Seton Hall has taken down Creighton in the quarterfinals.
Weren't they expected to do that?
Yeah, they might have been.
As a 4 seed over the 5? That's
San
not necessarily...
San Jose State was not expected to beat Boise State, but that's why we play the games.
Hey, man, you got the invite by Sushi Sam. Let's go, dog. First class, Frank. Let's ride. Hey, let's get you on a PJ over there in Palomar. We know a pilot, right? What's Skylar? Just give Skylar a call. Just probably rally up the plane. Let's go. Let's get to Vegas. Let's go. Let's get to Vegas.
I don't think she's here today.
No, she's not. Probably not. But Sabrina Carpenter espresso edit of Team Italy. Home run Sally boys. Love it. After having a Sando like Rod, now we're really in the Letterkenny weeds.
Yeah, I was going to say, you really have been watching Letterkenny.
I know all the references. We definitely need to figure it out, Drop, to be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair. To be fair.
To be fair.
Oh, no. Poor Josh. Poor Josh. Can't allow. It's the rules, though.
Yeah,
I can't allow it. Gotta watch on. Yeah, you see, here's the thing. If you get in that, if you can watch on delay on YouTube, but around 1 o'clock, you should probably just fast forward, hear what the biggest fan is, and then go back to where you're at. It's unfortunate. I would feel bad for Josh. There's nothing we can do about it, though. All right, let's get to what we wanted to talk about. Here's your updates. Auburn is up 6 right now on Tennessee. Aztec fans, you need Auburn to lose that game. Arizona's up a lot on UCF, but that was kind of an expected result.
We never did get Wilbur's answers to whether or not he was the one in the fight with Sparky, or if that was an imposter Wilbur.
Well, he's kind of busy right now entertaining the people in Kansas City.
Fair.
So I'm sure after the Arizona game is over, we will see Wilbur again. Maybe tomorrow. Unless, of course, they're playing again tomorrow, which is highly possible. NFL stuff. I do want to dive into a little bit of this NFL deal because it's been kind of a wild week for the NFL and the free agency. Free agent chaos has continued. 2026 NFL offseason continues to produce unexpected twists. What initially looked like a quieter free agent period has quickly turned into one of the most chaotic and controversial offseasons in recent memory. Several major storylines dominated day 3 of free agency. Baltimore pivoted away after the failed Max Crosby trade. Daniel Jones secured another massive contract. Raiders facing a difficult reset, and Washington aggressively adding talent as Green Bay addressed a defensive need yesterday as part of this entire saga of free agency. Let's start with we talked a little bit about the Ravens and pivoting after the Crosby trade collapse, but that's been the biggest ripple effect for the NFL free agency is Max Crosby. Ravens had agreed to send 2 first-round picks to the Raiders for Crosby, but the deal fell apart after medical concerns surrounding Crosby's knee. Baltimore quickly pivoted and signed Trey Hendrickson. They gave him 4 years, $112 to $120 million range contract, $60 million guaranteed for Trey Hendrickson. That's way better of a deal than what they had in place to trade for Max Crosby. Hendrickson has been one of the NFL's most productive pass rushers recently, 74.5 sacks in the last 6 seasons. He also posted back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons in 2023 and 2024. However, there are concerns about the deal. Hendrickson is 31 years old, missed 10 games last season, raising questions about whether the contract could age poorly. So, I look at this and this contract with the Ravens and turning down Max Crosby and going into the Trey Hendrickson deal. The thing that's interesting for me on this particular deal is I find it to be there's a lot of interesting. I think there's more to the story than what's being made out to believe, than what people are being made out to believe. Then the ripple effects are crazy. I did see a meme that I thought was funny. It was a pic, which now makes it even funnier. It was a picture of Joe Burrow in a doctor getup, saying, "This is the doctor that failed the the Max Crosby physical." And it's like, oh, that's funny because, God forbid we have another D lineman in this division that can destroy me because my offensive line sucks. But now they took one of the guys that was on his team and they're now on the Ravens. I find that to be funny. This is a big pickup for Baltimore, though. I really think it is. The Ravens are continuing to face major scrutiny. Baltimore's handling of the Crosby situation has sparked definitely a league-wide speculation. Some executives believe that the Ravens used medical evaluation as an excuse and backed out once they realized Hendrickson was available without giving up draft picks. One anonymous general manager even called the situation very much BS on Baltimore's part. Whether the medical concerns were legitimate or not, the Ravens are now facing reputation damage across the league. And honestly, I think they should because the deal stinks. This entire situation smells, and it smells bad. And I think a lot of league general managers are pointing it out.
It's fair, and it's definitely fair criticism. It's also fair for Baltimore to do what they've done. And I mentioned it yesterday. We were talking about this with the Carlos Correa thing. Who signed with San Francisco, they backed out. Signed with the Mets, they backed out. And then ended up going back to Minnesota. So, I mean, it's not like it's an unheard of thing. But with how vast of an overpay that everybody said that deal was, for them to back out of it and then to immediately sign Hendrickson, I think that's more the poor optics of it than anything else, is how immediate the signing was. It felt like a couple of hours at least between them backing out of the deal with Crosby and then signing another top player at the exact same position. Other
moves on there. I don't know about facing major scrutiny, but I find it What is your opinion on this? You are the lone Giants fan. Daniel Jones cashes in again. Most surprising winners of free agency. Daniel Jones, he signed a 2-year, $88 million deal with the Colts. Contract could reach $100 million with incentives. 2025 stats for Jones. He was off to a good start. 68% completion percentage, 3,100 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 picks, 8-5 record as a starter. The Colts, to me, are handing out deals that I don't understand the deals they're handing out. I don't understand the Alex Pierce deal. I really don't understand the Daniel Jones deal. Like, I get you want to bring him back. I think this is very risky. I think Daniel Jones is a winner. I don't think the Colts are winners in any of these free agent moves that they have made. I think they're overspending for players on their team.
It's interesting. I never saw a fan base get so sarcastically behind a guy as the Giants fan base did with Daniel Jones. But I don't know. I mean, you do have to reward Jones for what he did last year, because that was a good team at the start of the year. Now, some person sitting to my right here would say that they played no one really at the start of the year and they were beating up on a bunch of nobodies. But Daniel Jones looked very, very good in those games. Then he starts to rack up the injuries, makes it look worse. So, I mean, they're not paying him for no reason. They're not paying him for no production. He produced last year. Again, for the Colts, it has been a little bit confusing what they've been doing.
I just think they're overpaying for guys that are good players.
Yes.
They're good players, but they're paying them like great players that I don't think they're going to get. It's all about value. The NFL is all about value. When you sign players as general managers, it's all about value. I don't understand the value for the amount of money they got to give Daniel Jones. I would rather but I get it. Here's the problem that the Colts are in. The Colts are in what I call quarterback purgatory. And I've used this phrase before, but they're in quarterback purgatory of they have somebody that's better than what you can get on the open market. And they have somebody that's probably going to be better than drafting a rookie quarterback. They're not in that situation yet. But the problem is they have a guy that's probably not going to take them for where they want to go. They don't have an elite quarterback. They don't have a terrible quarterback. They have that mediocre, we're going to be around we're going to be competitive, but we're not good enough to win anything yet. That's the quarterback they have. And those quarterbacks cost a lot of money. And when you spend that kind of money on this guy that's not going to single-handedly win you games, it affects the rest of your roster. When you spend that money on a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who's not going to be able to do what Patrick Mahomes does, it really puts you behind the 8 ball. On top of the fact that they probably overpaid for a number 3, number 2 receiver at most in Alec Pierce to just be a deep threat guy, it didn't really make a lot of sense. And that's our takes on the NFL. We'll have more, I'm sure, as the weeks go on with the NFL free agency, but we got a lot of Padres baseball coming up in the next couple of weeks. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scravy. Gwynn and Chris, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.